Yo, what's good? What's good? What's good? How we doing? How we doing? Jamar Lammy, how we doing? Welcome, welcome. Today we are doing a bit of a reaction stream. I haven't streamed. Well, I usually stream every. I try to stream every. What is this? I try to stream every weekend as much as I can and try and post at least like once a day. Uh, you know, try and stay consistent in that part. But yeah, I just feel like it's been such a long time because school started and stuff. Never streamed since the lock incident. The lock incident? What's the lock incident? I don't think I've heard of that before. Lock incident? Pokemon. Oh, Pokemon Showdown. Pokemon Showdown. Ah, okay, okay. Okay, okay. Well, hey, who knows? Maybe if you like this stream, you might come in later. Yeah, yeah, I remember that. I remember that. I remember that. But yeah, so today we're gonna be reacting to stuff. Um, yeah, there's a lot of videos I've been wanting to watch. Give me a sec. Just setting up everything, make sure there's no technical errors. Um, okay. Shut up! I don't know why why the Freezeria tag. Oh, that was from a couple streams ago. I think it's updated now. Or it should be, yeah, it should be updated to just chatting. I don't know why it wasn't updated. Okay. Uh, Alright. I think we're good. Click this. Shut up. Alright. I think we're good. I think we're good to start. Yeah, yeah. That was just from the last stream. Alright. First video, I think I'll start off with hmm, let's do eh let's do this one. Let's do this one. Alright. Now, this video, obviously, it's a very, very high topic. Fortnite is dying, right? Everyone knows, you know, is happening right now, right? Because Fortnite is kind of dying. I'm not gonna lie. Their player count, I'm pretty sure, is the lowest ever. So it's interesting to see. But here's the video. Let's. I can just. Oh.
Fortnite Battle Royale is crashing, and it's not just by a little bit, as the player count is hitting the lowest points it has in years, and after
Yeah.
8 seasons, crossovers, and new modes, the big question has to be asked is if Fortnite Battle Royale is finally dying.
I think the reason. Okay. Obviously, I'm gonna pause it. I'm gonna try to provide information in the video. So I think it's dying. I'm pretty sure it's dying because they've used all their trump cards, right? They've used everything they've had in their back pocket, right? Like they released OG, so anytime you could play, which is a terrible move. It should have been a yearly thing. They released the Renegade Raider and Aerial Assault Trooper, which were the rarest skins in the game, right? In terms of like our oldest skins. And they what else did they do? They're adding like right now, I think proximity chat is a good move, but I feel like that's just another trump card. I think they just need to focus on making the game like good. You know what I mean? They need to do something big where people are talking about it and they need to execute it properly, right? Because Fortnite, like they've done so many big things that were such a downfall, it just hasn't been going well for them. You know, so people started getting a bit bored of Fortnite in that sense, like, oh, another big event that's so bad, you know what I mean? Like the Superman event it wasn't good. The last season one.
And if so, is there a way to revive it? Today I want to break down the 5 biggest reasons the players are leaving and how Epic can actually shift the player base up to an upward trajectory. And let's even just start with the data. Fortnite as a whole still has over 650 million registered players, and about 1 million of them are average daily across all modes.
Yeah, like I'm watching yesterday Joe Bartolozzi VOD right now. W. I love Joe Bartolozzi. I'm thinking if he's still live after I'm live, I might rate him. That'd be kind of funny. I know I've said that multiple times, but like I kind of just want to watch the rest of his stream after my stream. So I think that's what we'll do. It's more for me, not you. Yeah. Nah, I'm kidding. The Lego thing? Yeah. I think he's doing a Lego stream right now. I'd love to see that. Like probably by the time I finish the stream, he'll probably have the finished product. Or maybe if he does multiple Lego things, we'll see. Anyways.
But Battle Royale, that's a completely different story, as in 2024 we're seeing 2 million daily concurrent players in Battle Royale.
Yeah, like just a year ago they had double the amount of players.
But by mid-2025, that number fell down by 1 million, which is an 80% decline over 12 months.
Yep.
And that's the lowest point in nearly 2 years. And it happened despite some of the biggest collaborations ever, like Star Wars. So while
Fortnite, okay. I know it probably makes them a lot of money, but they need to stop with the repetitive collabs. Like, specifically Star Wars, right? No offense, right? Like, you know, to anyone who likes Star Wars, I just think it's getting a bit repetitive, right? Like what we get, like I get it, it's May the 4th and stuff, but I don't think you need to do it every year, right? Make it something where people want it to come back, right? Don't make it like a thing. Oh, the Star Wars are back again, right? And I feel like instead of just focusing on like Marvel and DC and stuff, they should try and like increment other collabs. Like, I think what they did with the Power Rangers was like a good thing. But like I feel like they should increment collabs so that like people like or people want it, you know what I mean? Like there are some collabs that people just don't care about or people didn't really want in the game, like for example, the Bounding of Isaac, right? I'm sure there was an audience for people who wanted that. Is, you know, a little indie game. I'm sure there's an audience of people who wanted that, but like it was out of the bloom and not really anyone was expecting it, right? So it's like, and they didn't really do anything with it. It's just it's just more cosmetic. Like it's just more cosmetics to sell, right? 90% of the collabs that Fortnite do is just for more cosmetics to sell, right? Like there are the 10%, yes, you got the Marvels with the Marvel mythics, you know, the Spider-Man mythics, the, you know, some DC mythics, right? But 90% of the collabs is just like to sell, right? Like for me personally, I'm not complaining, you know, I'd love to play as like Peacemaker and stuff like that. I just hope like for this Halloween specifically, there's a bunch of like killers coming to the game, like I think Ghostface, and we got Scooby-Doo as well. I hope they do something in the game to like correlate with the collab, right? That's what I hope. I know there might be some type of side on the business side or something, but I just hope something like that happens.
Is still the 4th most played game in the world.
Like it changes something on the map.
Its core mode is bleeding players, and the identity of the game is being stripped, laid bare by content collaborations.
The only time I saw a live show of yours, you fell off your chair. Oh, the only time I saw a stream. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. But yeah, welcome back, I guess. Is this your like second time or? But hey, thanks for tuning in. But welcome. I should have started with welcome. That's my bad.
Fortnite is no longer mainstream. The biggest reason is fragmentation, as Fortnite isn't just one game.
Wait, what does that mean? What does that says follow? What does that mean? What does that mean? Is that like a command or something? Follow age? I don't know what that means.
Game anymore. It's a dozen. Back in chapter 1, everyone hopped into the same battle royale queue and you shared matches, shared memes and one pump meta, and the whole community was watching the same thing, especially with those funny moment compilations. But now, people splinter off. Reload, Blitz, Zero Build, UEFN, and everything that seems a lot more competitive or Robloxy like.
Yeah, I think that's one thing specifically. Fortnite is very diverse in terms of the community, right? You have the ranked players, the competitive players, the casual players, you have the reload players, you have the blitz players, and you have all these creative maps as well that also have different types of mini communities, right? Which makes it very split. But the problem is the difference between that and Roblox is Roblox was built on these different communities, right? So Roblox already had a set in stone of people, liking different things on Roblox, right? So that's kind of like, they already had their own thing. With Fortnite, it's kind of hard to do that transition when you're mainly known to be a battle royale or a game that's meant to be like fighting each other instead of steal a brain rot or something. You know what I mean? So it's kind of hard to like transition your name into like or your like game into something completely different basically.
Custom maps, creative modes, and competitive playlists. Every new mode siphons off the dice of new players, and that just sounds great on paper. Variety is good, and I'm not trying to dispute that, but it destroys the shared moment that made Fortnite feel massive. When half of your friends are playing Reload and the other are playing UEFN, no one's really hyped about the seasonal POIs anymore, and creators can't really rally on one audience without around a single update. The matchmaking gets decidedly weird too. Smaller, less meaningful lobbies, and more bots, which makes Battle Royale feel hollow, and in short, there's less competition and more fragmentation, which turns one loud global community into lots of quiet microgroups, and that loses the momentum and the hype and the viral energy that Fortnite once held.
I think that's like I agree what he just said because I think the community is kind of in shambles right now. And like a lot of people like me, right, even though they have all these different things, don't really take interest in anything but mainly, let's say, battle royale, right? Like I care about like the battle royale game mode, but it's just not good. You know what I mean? Like sure they got some cool updates, the map seems cool. It just doesn't feel, you know what I mean? Like the click. You don't feel that click that you used to feel back in like chapter 1 and maybe even chapter 2, you know what I mean? It doesn't feel it doesn't feel connected, right? I feel like every chapter is its own thing now, right? You don't have it's not one connected story like say like the MCU, right? It's not like all connected. It's kind of Fortnite's kind of become the MCU, right? In terms of like in the MCU at a time was all connected, right? And then eventually it just split off, right? It just split off and completely like feels very disconnected now. This is kind of happening with Fortnite, where if you want to go like in terms of the story, Fortnite is like it kind of felt connected, even though it was like chapters. It still felt connected, and then sometime later in chapter 4, early chapter 5, right, it just lost that discontinuity. You know what I mean? Like it felt very disconnected after that, right? Because I don't see the correlation between chapter 5 and chapter 6. So.
And that's why Fortnite had to rely on these collaborations. The formula is also very old, as the second major reason Fortnite is struggling is due to the original formula that is simply outdated. As back in 2017, the idea of 100 players dropping onto an island, scavenging loot, and building on the fly, and fighting to be the last one standing was revolutionary right before PUBG. It was thrilling, chaotic, and fresh, and every match felt like a new story, and winning your first game was a monumental achievement. I remember the first time I won my first game, and I literally woke my parents up. It was the funniest thing ever.
Yeah.
But fast forward to 2025, and the magic has faded.
Yeah, that's just part of the reason like a genre such as battle royale is dying out eventually. People start to get bored of it and don't really care about it as much, in the sense that like oh we've seen this 1,000 times with 100 different games. You know what I mean? So.
You remember
I don't know what that emoji's supposed to mean, but I appreciate that.
that old feeling when you'd get a golden scar, or you'd get some crazy loot, or you'd just be able to win a game? That's not just childhood, but that's because Fortnite's identity was so rare and new. It felt like fresh juice.
It's kind of like the indie games nowadays because, right, the indie games nowadays, they have completely different ideas in different genres. What is that emoji? What is it? Who is that? I don't know where you guys are getting these emojis from. Anyways, so it's like with indie games nowadays, right? Indie games are completely different games. They have all different unique ideas, right? And they're not just doing it for the they're like doing it for the love of the game, like literally, right? For example, Silksong, right? Silksong was apparently took like multiple years, and the reason it took multiple years is because the developers of the game were having too much fun developing the game that it took them longer and longer, right? So, and another example, right? Peak, right? I think it took them like a month to build it, but they had like passion for it, and it was a whole new concept and a whole new idea, right? That people loved it, and now it has what 10 million sales. So it's just the idea of like having new things to like create, and that's why all these indie games are popping off like 1 million, 2 million, 10 million different like sales, right? So it's just having a new idea, implementing it very well, and actually focusing on the game and not about the profits, right? So I think that's what developers of any game in general should always be focusing on is the actual game and not the profits. Because if you focus on the game, you'll also get some profits.
And players have thousands of matches under their belts now, and the wins no longer carry the same weight. That's not because of time, but that's because the identity has shifted to a point where Fortnite doesn't actually feel like it's fresh anymore. The introduction of skill-based matchmaking has made victory feel more calculated more than exhilarating, and the layers in to fill with bot lobbies and the unpredictability that made BR less exciting has eroded even further. What was once a tense, adrenaline and pumping experience now often feels repetitive and very predictable.
Yeah, I think they should have just stopped. I don't know why they added bots. I guess maybe to make the games go by quicker or like load in quicker. I don't think they should have ever added bots, right? Like I think I think the reason why like they're like, oh, I hate the people who say like, oh, if you don't want bots, play ranked, just play ranked. I think that's a bad take because what if you like want to play against real people but you don't want any stakes on the line, you know what I mean? What if you want to mess around with like real people, right? Cuz like back in the day, every person was real no matter how bad they were. They were all real people, right? So maybe you wanted to like well, you say you just wanted to win, right? You don't want to have to worry about a rank or something, or you weren't like playing with your friends to grind rank or something like that, right? So what you would do is you just play a normal game, right? And then you still have to try because everyone was real, and then you would get that win, right? And you wouldn't have to worry about like your rank being lost if you're playing. I don't know, like if you guys actually wanted to grind, you'd play ranked. If you just wanted to have fun, play normal. You know what I mean? And I think ranked actually right now has bots, if I'm not mistaken.
The core design that made Fortnite special and the sense of stakes and uncertainty is dulled, and newer or alternative game modes offer a fasting, more streamlined battle royale experiences, which are and ultimately drawing players away. And simply put, the thrill has aged, and without innovation to revitalize the formula, players are naturally drifting elsewhere. And another huge factor is the bot problem. It's more damaging than it might seem at first glance, but to make matchmaking time short and lobbies full, and also make the game a lot more fair as there have been
Yo, what's good? As Poliver, what's good? Welcome to the stream. Welcome, welcome.
or tryhards around the game. Epic has been filling matches with AI opponents, sometimes making up about 80% of the game's population, and even if it seems convenient, players get into games fast, but it completely undermines the PvP experience. Fortnite's appeal is competitive, skill-based combat. I mean, I remember when I was younger, and being able to show off your wins was something crazy. It didn't even matter what age you were. It was just simply so cool because it was so difficult.
Yeah.
But now, it's pretty easy because most of the players are bots, and when you run into somebody, they're just someone who decides to completely take the game super seriously. There's
Like that's why like a win. That's why everyone posted it on their like Snapchat because it felt deserving, right? And you felt like, oh, I earned that win. That was all me, right? So I think that was part of the reason why the adding bots wasn't a good thing because it doesn't a win didn't feel good. You know what I mean? That was, I think if Fortnite kept that like formula, that feeling a win still felt good, right? Like people would obviously still get better, but everyone would try kind of like get better together, right? And there'd still be like the same difficulty gap, right? If people, continue playing, and you would still have that satisfaction of getting, oh shoot, this win felt deserving, right? Especially when Fortnite's meta changes every time, right? You feel like, oh, I got to win in this new meta and then a win in this new meta, right? So it still feels kind of deserving.
So much building mastery and outsmarting other human players, but when most of the lobbies is bots, every match feels hollow, slow, and very unrewarding. And players notice this immediately, as there's a lack of intensity, and unpredictability is gone, and practicing skills feels pointless when the AI dominates. And it's not just about the casual players either. Even long-time creators, streamers, and competitive players complain about how the bot-heavy environment kills the engagement. I mean, it was pretty awesome to be able to see noobs back in the day, and it would be really awesome to just see your favorite content creators just making videos on noobs, and you'd see all these compilations which would ultimately spiral the game into more success. And when the players feel like the game isn't even genuinely competitive or dynamic or even cute sometimes, they leave. And the cycle worsens with fewer humans means more bots, which means it drives more people away. The bot saturation is a joke, and one reason why Battle Royale feels dead even though millions of players are technically still active. Competition and accessibility.
Yeah, and another thing, let me add to the creators thing. A lot of creators have recently like kind of slowed down on playing Fortnite, especially like the top Fortnite creators. I've seen like multiple of the top creators, right? Like Nick30 and CypherPK, for example. I see them, they were playing like Steal a Brain Rot on Roblox, right? Like I feel like Fortnite is getting to that point where even the top like creators and stuff like that are leaving the game because part of the reason maybe there's no content to make, and also like the game is just not in a good state right now, right? I think the only people playing right now are like people who just want to like grind, or like they're the dedicated players, right? Or like the people who want to be sweats or something, as an example, who want to play competitive, right? I think those are the only players right now who are still playing the game like actively, you know what I mean?
Stability is another major hurdle, as Fortnite is no longer the dominant kid on the block. Roblox in particular has exploded over the past few years, which offers easy
40
access,
million
lightweight
players.
downloads, and instantly playable maps on almost any device. And Roblox boasts over 40 million concurrent players on peak, whereas
Yeah.
Fortnite's Battle Royale mode struggles around 1 million. And this isn't even just a numbers issue, but it's a user experience problem. Fortnite forces players to download the entire game regardless of whether they just want to jump into one mode or custom map, which is a
Yeah,
massive barrier to
which is a
entry,
problem.
especially on mobile and console platforms.
Yeah, because Fortnite is what, 60 gigabytes, depending. Like, it's like averagely 60, maybe 70 gigabytes, and like some people don't even want to play. Like, I know there are probably some people out there who just want to play, for example, the Lego game mode, and then they still have to download the full game just to play only the Lego game mode. You know what I mean? So there's like also a problem there. Like going back to like how it's a battle royale at its core, right? So it's kind of hard to make that rotation and still like, because that's why Roblox was dominating right now, because it's easier to download, because it's been what it has been since the creation, right? Where people just make games on that platform.
Now, obviously, I understand that Fortnite has always been a bigger game than Roblox, and it's like a pretty crazy comparison to think about it. But if we're looking at the new generation and the way that the core identity of children playing games is shifting, you can definitely see why the player base is decreasing, and the fact that a lot of people who used to play Fortnite back in the day are getting older and having more responsibilities in their life. But that doesn't take away from the core identity of what made Fortnite special. It's like going through your old childhood photos. You're not going to forget those memories, but it's never going to feel the same. New players, particularly younger ones, are far more likely to pick Roblox or other instant access platforms, where engagement is immediate and frictionless, and even veteran players sometimes drift away because more friends move to more easier to access games. And also, because of the competition, a lot more children are less likely to play Fortnite, which makes the game spiral out of its popularity. However, when there's a difference between popularity and identity. For example, remember Fortnite back in the day when it was on news and everywhere? That was mainly because it had an identity that was so strong strong and so bold.
Yeah.
And even though it is still extremely popular today, it doesn't have that same kick like it once did. And the reason for this is because the core identity of Fortnite has kind of lost its cool. It's not as cool to play Fortnite anymore. In 2025, even if it seems pointless to mention, the ease of entry is critical for the survival of Fortnite, and the current setup makes it onboarding slow and inconvenient, which leaves the platform as a significant competitive disadvantage. And then one of the biggest reasons is crossover fatigue, as Epic Games has leaned heavily on crossovers and collaborations from
Like, I love crossovers as much as the next guy, but I think Fortnite, I think it would have been nicer if they did it in like small increments, right? Like maybe yes, do your, that crossover here and there, like, if it's a new TV show or a new movie, but like having that excitement of like, oh my gosh, the next guy is gonna be Master Chief, and then we get Kratos as well. Like that excitement is like, obviously they probably wouldn't have made as much money as they would have, but I think that excitement would have kept players going because they would have to rely on their own creativity and like make their own skins. And I think like as a Fortnite player and stuff, formally, I don't know. I sometimes hop on, but I personally would prefer. I would have personally preferred if they did it like in increments, like back in Chapter 1, right? I think they did it pretty well in Chapter 1, right? We had what, like four, maybe like 10, 10, let's say 10 collab skins throughout the whole chapter. The whole chapter, you get 10 collab skins. Nowadays, you get 10 collab skins per season, right? And it's just not that exciting when you see, oh wow, another guy's in the game, right? Like sure you get those few skins that are, oh yeah, I really like this character and I really like that character, but it's not as exciting as it was maybe back in Chapter 1 or possibly Chapter 2, right? Like I remember Deadpool being one of the first collab Battle Pass skins, right? He was one of the first skins that was a collab that was in the Battle Pass, right? So, and that was pretty exciting, right? Because he was another Marvel character, and that was before we had any of the other Marvel characters. Deadpool was like the fourth or third Marvel character we've ever had in the entire game. So it's just it was kind of exciting to see like slowly see these characters get added into the game until they just one day just put every possible skin in the game, which I think that was a pretty big mistake on their part. So.
Marvel superheroes to Star Wars icons, anime characters and more. And at first these were exciting and generating massive hype, but by 2025 almost every season feels dominated by external IPs and the core identity of Fortnite starts to blur. I mean, the story between Carbide on Omega was one of the coolest things that Fortnite did, and it actually having its own identity. Fortnite is a big dog in the game, but they don't try and take advantage of the fact that they are huge. They use other external IPs to make themselves bigger. Players really care less about the map, the loot pools, and the original seasonal themes because the emphasis is yet on another crossover event. And instead of building community excitement around creative updates or gameplay mechanics, the attention shifts to more marketing-driven events. And I'm not trying to say that some of these crossover events aren't fun. They are super fun sometimes. But it's not just about the fun, but it's all about the core identity of what makes Fortnite Fortnite. And that was why Chapter 5 felt particularly interesting, because the first season with Hope was really cool, as I thought this was when Fortnite was going to finally start regaining that identity. When players feel like the game is primarily...
Because they had OG, right? And everyone was like, oh my gosh, Chapter 5, they got Lego, they got all these other cool game modes, and plus the map looks cool and new movement and stuff. So they had that momentum there, and then it just kind of went...
Early a vehicle for IP promotions rather than a living, evolving BR ecosystem, the engagement massively drops because once a game where players love to play becomes a platform they tolerate until the next hype drop, which contributes to the declining daily users of fractured interest. But it's important to remember that Epic's largest strategic shift. Fortnite isn't just trying to be a battle royale anymore, but it's aiming to be a multi-platform. UEFN, custom content and creative modes are designed to make Fortnite a place where players can build, share and experience endless user-generated content. The problem though is when implementation has lagged, delays, missing features and the lack of thin client has slowed adoption.
And I think the problem is that they're not only messing up on the UFEN part, which is the creative part and like trying to be like Roblox, they're also messing up on the Battle Royale part, right? So they don't have people playing Battle Royale and they don't have people playing UFEN, which is, a problem because if no one's playing it, then they're not going to have any players, right? And people are not going to talk about it as much, right? So that's, I think, because I think if they were trying to like change, they should at least, because they're putting less time in battle royale and more into these maps. I think they should put still a good amount of time in battle royale while they're transferring everyone, into the UFEN, right? Like while they're transferring it, like they should still have battle royale good, because if it's not good, they can't keep their players while they're trying to transfer the UFEN stuff. So.
And without easy access to fresh players, Battle Royale feels like it's shrinking, not growing. And Epic's vision is smart, but the platform is more sustainable with a single mode. But the transition period is very messy. During this in-between phase, highs feel muted and the lows feel prolonged, and Fortnite's player-based fragmentation is an outdated formula. Saturation, competition, and collab fatigue all compound this transitional challenge. The good news is, though, is if Epic executes on accessibility and UEFN properly, the platform can actually not only recover, but surpass previous peaks. But until then, BR players are left feeling like they're part of a game in flux. Still large, still active, but far from the cultural powerhouse it once was. I think one way they could fix this is by creating a huge event where we sort of see something similar from Season X, where
Yeah, they
Fortnite
just need to
died,
reset
and then
it.
we get a complete new revamp where it's completely original back from the start. I never said collabs are bad, and I think collabs could be an amazing part of the game, but they shouldn't take the main focal center point of the story. If Epic Games were to polish the user interface, make it so the game feels more transitional and speedy, and also allow for the game to have its own core identity again, I feel Fortnite could hit the mainframe page again. Another thing is if they release the Thin client as making Fortnite easy to access. As if you remember when they released Fortnite on mobile, people went crazy. This is when Fortnite really blew up and it showed. And the final thing is
Because like
reconnecting BR's excitement.
mobile made it more accessible. That's why Roblox is also really good, because it's been on mobile for a long time, and it's very easy to get Roblox on mobile.
As whether that's a limited time throwback, unique twists, or fresh incentives for wins. Not slapping an OG and just calling it a day, but actually making it feel immersive, and making it part of the main game, not just a separate mode. But the truth ultimately is that Battle Royale may never go back to its Chapter 1 glory days, but Fortnite as a platform, that's definitely still alive. If Epic gets the transition right, Fortnite could outlast more than its competitors, but if not, BR could quietly fade while Roblox and others keep growing. Fortnite is definitely dying, and the player base is showing that. The numbers don't lie, and Fortnite itself isn't dead, it's evolving. The only question is whether Epic can keep its core players without chasing the future. I want to know your opinions in the comments. Is Fortnite's decline permanent, or it's just another low point before the comeback? I'm not saying I'm correct or incorrect. I just want to know your opinion down below. And if you enjoyed this
Wait,
breakdown,
what did you
make
say?
come back. I want to know your opinions in the comments. Is Fortnite's decline permanent, or it's just
It really depends. Like, if Fortnite ever, it really just depends on what Fortnite does, right? Like Fortnite, if they really don't do anything about their declining players, yeah, it's definitely dead. But if they try, I think they need a reset. Chapter 7, they need to do fresh start, no collabs, none of that. Focus on Battle Royale while you're also like focus on everything. I think Fortnite just need to revamp everything, right? Start from scratch, right? In terms of, Battle Royale and like UFN, right? I think they need to clean up everything. I think they need to do some, more updates, maybe, possibly. Try and like get like consistent updates, right? Not updates like every 2 weeks or 3 weeks, because when they do like maybe they do update every week, but it's like for each different game mode. Like Blitz gets an update this week, and then Reload gets another update this week, and then OG gets an update this week, and then Battle Royale finally gets an update. So it's gonna be like 1 month between updates that Battle Royale gets an update. You know what I mean? So I think that's just the thing they should need to clean up and revamp everything in terms of in terms of Fortnite in general. They should need to clean up, and they could make a comeback, but yeah. So that was a good video. I like that. The next video, let's see. Let's do this. Let's do this one. Uh,
Hello.
actually, no. We'll.
Communicate in English.
Mm, I don't know. All right, let's just do this one right here. Oh, what? No, what? No. What did I just do? What the heck? Delete that. Alright. I'm gonna do this video.
Daredevil.
Okay, you can probably tell what the video is. Uh.
Daredevil is one of Marvel's most.
Okay. So this one. Let's see. Okay. Oh, wrong button. The rise and fall and rise again of Daredevil. So this is probably just gonna be about like the movie, the TV show, and the stuff like that. So I think the rise is probably starting from the 2014 show. The fall, I don't know where the fall probably like when they did the Defender stuff, and the rise again would probably be Born Again if I had to guess. But yeah, rise and fall of Daredevil.
Loved superheroes, thanks to Frank Miller's comics and the Netflix show. But it wasn't always like that. In his early days, Matt Murdock was considered a B-list character. Marvel was really close to canceling his comics because no one was buying them. And then Fox's terrible live-action adaptation turned him into a joke. But Marvel and Netflix brought him back and made him an icon. Today, we're diving into the rise, the fall, and the new rise of Daredevil.
Oh, okay. So I think we're gonna include that comic.
Matt stood out from the rest of Marvel's heroes right from his first appearance, not just because
Okay, it's kind of crazy to think about. Like, there are a lot of Marvel characters. Obviously, they sold them off and stuff to make money. That's what Marvel had to do at the time. It's kind of crazy to think about. We wouldn't have gotten the Daredevil show, or any of the Daredevil shows, or maybe not even the Punisher, right? We wouldn't have gotten any of those great castings, those great seasons and stuff, if it weren't like for them to continuing on. You know what I mean? So it all kind of relied back in the everything in terms of superheroes relies on the comics and like what happened then.
he was blind. Back in the mid-60s, Marvel usually introduced new characters in anthology comics. Spider-Man showed up first in Amazing Fantasy, Iron Man in Tales of Suspense, and Thor in Journey into Mystery.
Okay, so it's just like, oh, that's interesting. So they never, like, these comics, I thought they just introduced him in their own comic. So they introduce him in other series that are kind of popping off for a bit, maybe, and then maybe if like they add like a character or two, or they add a new character to this series.
They only got their own solo series after they blew up and were guaranteed hits, once
Okay.
Marvel knew they'd be making money. But Marvel trusted Stan Lee so much that they let him debut Matt Murdock in his own regular series, simply
Oh, interesting.
called Daredevil. It probably helped that the designs were
Oh, wait,
debut Matt
hold up.
Murdock in his own regular series, simply called
That note on the right, worthy companion magazine such that grace as the, it's kind of like you know how like in movies they have the the title, right? They have the title of the movie and then it says list all the A-list actors they have in that movie. I think this is kind of like what they did for the comics.
called Daredevil. It probably helped that the designs were handled by Steve Ditko, the guy who co-created almost all your favorite Marvel characters. The actual artist, though, was Bill Everett, another Marvel legend who worked on Hulk and Doctor Strange. Stan Lee wanted to repeat the formula that had worked with Spider-Man, make a street-level hero with everyday problems so people could relate to him. That was Marvel's big difference from DC at the time. And to make Daredevil even more unique, Stan made Matt the first blind superhero. In this first
Oh, wow. Really?
issue, we get all the basics of Daredevil. His dad's life as a boxer, how Matt goes blind in a radioactive accident as a kid, how his other senses get enhanced, and how he tries to juggle his superhero life with being a lawyer. We also meet his best buddy Foggy and his secretary Karen, but Stick and Bullseye weren't around yet, and there still
Okay.
weren't any ninjas or Catholic references. Also, Matt was wearing a yellow and red suit. They
The
changed his
mustard.
costume
Mustard. Sorry.
in 1965, just a year later, to try and make him more appealing, because he wasn't even close to
And
selling
more.
like Spider-Man or the Fantastic Four. What's definitely worth pointing out is that Stan got letters from blind readers thanking him for creating a hero with a visual disability who represented them. According to Stan, the blind superhero was actually the one who could see the most.
So deep.
I think that's why Marvel was popping off, because they had at the time for the comics, because they were very diverse in terms of their characters, right? They had different characters and from different aspects of life that can relate to the audience.
No, it isn't.
But critics back then weren't so kind. A lot of people mockingly called Daredevil the blind Spider-Man, and he was far from
What?
from a sales hit. A couple crossovers with Spidey in the 60s didn't help much, and Daredevil's solo comic was almost canceled. In a last-ditch effort to get new readers, Marvel had Matt move to San Francisco and team up with Black Widow, who had just left the Avengers. For 15 issues, the comic was renamed Daredevil and the Black Widow, showing them as a crime-fighting duo. That's where this panel comes from. The one
What? Yo, what the hell?
Some
Okay.
people love to take out of
Yo,
context to
freaky
make Matt look
out.
like a total
Freaky
jerk.
out Matt,
but I have
bro.
to tell you,
That is a freaky out, bro. Freak. What a freak. Freak. Sorry.
that TikTok just lied to you. This was part of their role play. Natasha was Matt's ex at the time.
I did not know that.
Unfortunately,
What? Okay.
this duo didn't boost sales much, but it did catch the attention of Angela Bowie, David Bowie's wife. In 1975, Angela bought the TV rights for Daredevil and Black Widow for a year, which
What?
wasn't unusual at the time. Nobody really cared much about
Daredevil and Black Widow? Wait, you could just buy their movie rights like that? Just any person?
superhero rights back then, since the genre wasn't the cash machine it is today. Angela had the visionary idea to make a TV show with Daredevil and Black Widow as the stars, inspired by the comic, mostly because she really wanted to play a superhero on TV. They even did some photo shoots that got published in magazines. But since
Oh, that does. I don't know. That's not Matt. That's not Daredevil. That is not Matt Murdock. Oh my gosh, what is that costume design? What were they thinking in the 90s, bro? Or 60s, or whatever time this period was? Jeez Louise.
since no studio was interested, the project went nowhere. 50 years later, and
Thank goodness.
those two still haven't met in live action. With sales dropping every month, Marvel split up the duo since the experiment had flopped. Daredevil moved back to New York in a back-to-basics kind of move, with slightly more detective-style stories and guest appearances by bigger names like the Hulk. But not even legendary writer Marv Wolfman could save the comic. It got downgraded to a bi-monthly release, which was a really bad sign. The most notable parts of this era were the debut of Bullseye, and that in 1979, a young artist named Frank Miller started drawing the series. Miller was almost unknown. He'd only done a couple of Marvel covers, but at just 22 years old, he told the editor he didn't like the scripts from writer Roger McKee.
Yeah, why is Namor fighting Daredevil? Like, that doesn't work with me. I feel like if he's in New York, why is Namor there? Isn't he like the king of the seas? Why is he New York is connected to the sea, right? Like, why is he at New York, bro? Just like piss off and go somewhere else.
Kenzie, who was in charge of the Daredevil comics.
I don't think that was Namor, by the way. I think it was just some random guy.
Since Miller clearly loved the character and they had nothing to lose, editor Denny O'Neil let Miller take over writing with issue 168. That was a big deal
Elektra's
because Miller
introduction.
would be both writing and drawing the comic, something super rare for Marvel or DC. From that moment on, Daredevil was never the same. Miller admitted he was way more into crime stories than superheroes, but he had to adapt to make a living. Daredevil was the perfect character for him. Let him tell a gritty crime story that just happened to have superheroes in it. The comic took on a dark, violent, urban noir style that matched the rough streets of Hell's Kitchen. There were fewer over-the-top superpowers, the stories got more grounded, and Miller really leaned into Matt's Catholic faith and moral guilt.
Along the way, I decided he had to be a Catholic because only a Catholic could be a vigilante and an attorney at the same time. So I think religion and politics both have a very profound relation to comics because cartooning is taking reality and making it more so.
He also introduced Elektra and Matt's mentor Stick,
Oh, okay.
made Bullseye a recurring villain, and rebranded Kingpin as Daredevil's main nemesis.
Oh, interesting. Because everyone knows, like, I feel like Wilson Fisk, right? Everyone knew him as like a Spider-Man villain. I think he's shared. I would say he's definitely shared between Spider-Man and Daredevil. He's definitely shared. Because he like affects both of their lives.
Kingpin had debuted in the regular Spider-Man series in 1967, but he had never faced Daredevil. He was considered a Spider-Man villain. But Miller's reinvention
What
was
was that?
so good that now everyone assumes Kingpin is a Daredevil villain.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
except for Sony, since they still own the movie rights to the character.
God, that's so annoying, man. So annoying. They can't put Wilson Fisk into like any of the Daredevil movie, or like they can't put Wilson Fisk in like a Spider-Man movie because damn Sony owns the damn rights. Like, bro, just like drop the rights, bro. You're not doing anything with it, bro. Give it back. Sell it for like $1 billion or something. All the rights to all the villains, bro. Just sell it, bro.
But that's a story for another day. Miller wrote some
It's unfortunate. Like the Wilson Fisk casting for the TV show is great, man. Like I'm telling you, it's wonderful. It was great casting. It's unfortunate we probably won't see him on like the big screen. So.
iconic stories, like Elektra's death at the hands of Bullseye in issue 181. And even though he stepped away for a bit, he came back to write Born Again with artist David Mazzucchelli.
Oh, Born Again. That's the TV show. That's the TV show. Apparently, I think season 2 comes out like next year or something.
In this story, Kingpin breaks both Matt Murdock and Daredevil, doing everything he can to completely destroy his nemesis. Thanks to Miller's comics, Daredevil became one of Marvel's most acclaimed titles in the 80s. The comic went back to monthly releases, sales were great, and Miller became a legend. Comic fans now saw Daredevil as a serious, well-written character and a real icon of the publisher. But outside of comics, nobody really knew who he was. Daredevil hadn't shown up in other media, so most people...
Well, it was the 80s. I don't think any real... Well, there were obviously some movies for certain characters, but I don't think there was any major movies at the time.
Had no clue who Matt Murdock even was, but that was about to change. Knowing they could finally cash in now that the character was selling well, Marvel made a few attempts to bring Daredevil to live action. In 1983, ABC planned a pilot episode for a Daredevil TV show. The writer was going to be Sterling Silliphant, a Golden Globe winner, who actually finished a full draft for the pilot. The quality
Daredevil
seemed
TV
promising,
show?
but sadly, the episode was never
Before the
filmed
Daredevil TV show.
or aired. We don't even have access to the script to
That's
know what the
unfortunate.
story would have been like.
That's a shame.
We had to wait until 1989 for Daredevil to finally show up in live action. In The Trial of the Incredible
Wait.
Hulk, a
Oh.
TV movie spin-off from the Lou Ferrigno series. Actor
Wait,
Rex
what?
Smith played Matt Murdock, who was
Ah, okay. So he did have a movie appearance before the 2003 movie.
Banner's lawyer,
Okay.
also suited up to team up with Hulk. What stood out was that they didn't stick to the comic book design.
Oh, they did. Was this this must have been the first appearance of his like black outfit?
Daredevil didn't wear the mustard suit or the red one. He had a totally black ninja-style outfit instead. They probably did it that way so it wouldn't clash with the rest of the movie, and because it was a low-budget production. But the weirdest part is that the black suit actually became canon in the comics 4 years
Yeah.
later, continuing his reinvention of the character.
Yeah, it's canon in the show and I guess now in the comics.
Frank Miller wrote a miniseries called The Man Without Fear in 1993. In this comic, he retold Matt's origin story, adding stuff from his earlier run in the 80s. We saw Matt training with Stick and meeting Elektra for the first time. Both characters had been created by Miller himself. In issue number 4, Matt wore a black suit to take on Kingpin's thugs and rescue a little girl. It was the same outfit he had worn in the Trial of the Incredible Hulk, a design that ended up becoming iconic. We saw it again in live action more than 20 years later.
Okay, yeah. Okay, I was always wondering where that suit came from because obviously it wasn't. I don't remember like seeing it any like comics or comic covers, right? That's actually interesting. That's actually interesting. I think that's one of the few times in like history is like when a movie is so influential that it like becomes norm in the comics. Like another example would be Nick Fury in the Avengers movie. Obviously, Nick Fury was played by Samuel L. Jackson, right? And before Nick Fury was just a white guy with hair. Now he's just Samuel L. Jackson in the comics, which is pretty cool.
But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Miller's work was so influential and sold so well that his version of Daredevil became the new canon. No one tried to change Matt's origin again, and every writer after kept Miller's tone and characters, with Kingpin always as Daredevil's nemesis. And now that he was super popular in the comics, Daredevil started showing up everywhere. In 1995, he debuted in video games as a support character in Separation Anxiety for
Nice.
Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis. In this Spider-Man video game, Daredevil wasn't actually playable, but the player could call him in as a special assist. The next year, he had a bigger role in another Spidey game called Web of Fire. If the player rescued Matt from a trap early in the game, Daredevil became a
How the hell? Wait, isn't that okay? If that's the sky, how the hell is the cage hanging? Random side note.
playable character who helped Spider-Man fight Hydra. All that was left was for Matt to show up on the big screen, but that was way easier said than done. In 1997, 20th Century Fox got the movie rights to Daredevil. They hired director Chris Columbus, the guy behind Home Alone and The Goonies. He co-wrote a script with Carlo Carli.
I don't think that's the right tone for Daredevil.
That was loosely based on Miller's comics. It was going to show Matt's origin, his romance with Elektra, and a battle with Kingpin and Bullseye. A fun fact is that Kingpin's evil plan was to become mayor, the same motivation he had in Devil's Reign back in 2021, and later on in the Disney Plus series. This script had potential, but the project stalled before it got into production. Then a whole rights war broke out. Disney almost snagged Daredevil in the late 90s, which shows they were
Well, interesting. So Disney would have bought specifically Daredevil before they even bought all of Marvel.
interested in Marvel characters long before the MCU even existed. But after a lot
I didn't know that.
of back and forth, the rights to The Man Without Fear ended up with New Regency, with Fox still handling distribution. This time, they
Well, Disney bought Fox now, so I guess they own the rights to that.
actually
Which
got
is
the
why they made the show.
movie made. They brought in director Mark Steven Johnson, who didn't have the most impressive resume. But there was still a lot of hype, especially when they announced Ben Affleck would play Daredevil. Affleck was a massive fan of the character, and had written a foreword for the Guardian Devil comic collection back in 1999. So fans thought the movie was
Okay.
going to be super faithful to the source material.
Apparently, this movie was not good.
If Affleck signed on, it had to be the ultimate Daredevil adaptation, right? But that wasn't really the case. The movie hit theaters in 2003 and kept a few things from Miller's comics. We saw how Matt lost his sight in an accident, his relationship with Elektra, and his fights with Bullseye and Kingpin. Matt's abilities
Was that first guy Bullseye?
were actually adapted pretty well, but it was super obvious the studio was trying to copy the success of Blade and the X-Men. You can really tell from the tone of the movie. It tries to be realistic, but at the same time throws in a bit of comedy. And don't even get me started on the costumes. Daredevil and Elektra's leather suits look like they were pulled
Again, I don't know what was going on in the 2000s. Why has everyone got leather suits? Like, just make a normal suit, man.
straight out of Bryan Singer's X-Men, while Bullseye's outfit looks like something from a parody
What? There's no way that's Bullseye. How is that? There's no Bullseye. What?
the adult film. Also, the playground fight scene is early 2000s cringe at its peak, so obviously the reception wasn't great. Critics tore it apart, Daredevil fans were disappointed, and the casual audience didn't really care about Matt Murdock like they did for Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man or
Oh,
Hugh
yeah.
Jackman's Wolverine. Even Ben Affleck later admitted this was the one movie he truly regretted doing, saying it was a total waste of the character. But it wasn't a complete failure. Daredevil made $179 million at the box office, which wasn't that bad considering the $78 million budget.
I think it only made that much because it was a Daredevil movie.
Along with merch and DVD sales, that was enough for New Regency and Fox to go ahead with a spin-off starring Elektra to keep the story going, and to squeeze everything they could out of the Daredevil rights. Matt doesn't show up in this film except for a short deleted cameo where he meets up with Elektra in a dream, but this movie flopped really hard. The
Yep.
reception was way worse than Daredevil's,
Oh,
and
yeah.
it barely made $56 million at the box office, which
Oh,
ended up being an
that's
absolute
no
loss for the
bueno.
studio. Any chance of a Daredevil sequel was scrapped right away, because the damage from the first movie was already done. The Man Without Fear had taken as big of a hit in live action as Deadpool did after X-Men Origins.
Oh, so it seems like I feel like Deadpool kind of made like the same comeback as Daredevil. Now that I'm thinking about it.
Wolverine. The adaptation was so bad that no studio wanted to touch this character ever again. No one expected Daredevil to show up in live action anytime soon, because his reputation was totally
Until Netflix. Sorry.
But not everything in the 2000s was a disaster. The character stayed strong in the comics. First with Brian Michael Bendis and then Ed Brubaker, who dove into Matt's life when his secret identity stopped being so secret. These writers explored the legal and personal fallout for the hero. We saw Matt leading Hell's Kitchen, doing time in jail, and even briefly joining the dark ninja cult, The Hand. The Daredevil comics stayed top tier, even if the live action stuff didn't quite hit the mark. By the way, if you're enjoying this, don't forget to subscribe. I've got plenty more documentary videos like this one coming up.
Okay.
Don't tell me what to do!
The live action flop didn't stop Daredevil from showing up in video games. He got his own game in 2003, but it didn't go so well. It came
Yeah.
out for a Game Boy Advance
If it came out the same year as the movie,
as a tie-in for the movie, and people thought it was pretty meh, just a basic side-scrolling beat 'em up. Its biggest feature was a radar mode that mimicked Daredevil's sonar powers to find hidden objects and enemies. But
Okay, that's
overall,
cool.
the game wasn't anything
Why
special.
is this
the
quality
next year,
so low?
Encore worked on a 3D game for PlayStation 2 and
oh, that'd be so cool.
Xbox called The Man Without Fear, just
Oh,
like the
that
Miller
looks so
mini
cool.
series. It was based on that comic and Elektra Lives Again, and it was supposed to be about a gang war in Hell's Kitchen after Kingpin faked his
Wait, is this? I don't think this is a real game. I don't think they finished
death. They even had demos and magazine ads, but the game got canceled when Encore
it. Man.
stopped making their own games. Daredevil never really got the game he deserved, but he kept popping
Yeah,
up in
that's
team-up
unfortunate.
games like Rise of the Imperfects and Ultimate Alliance. Overall, fans were pretty happy, since there was plenty of quality Daredevil content to enjoy, but the character hadn't really broken into pop culture the way the more famous Marvel and DC characters had. While Nolan's Batman was raking in billions at the box office, and your aunt was suddenly an Iron Man fan, only comic book readers were really getting to enjoy Daredevil in all his glory. Until the Netflix series came along. Since Fox and New
Netflix.
Regency weren't weren't using the character anymore, they lost the rights, and Daredevil went back to Marvel in 2013. By then, Marvel Studios was already up and running with the first successful shared universe, but they hadn't started making their own shows yet. With no exclusive platform or TV deal to release their projects, Marvel teamed up with Netflix to make shows about street-level heroes. Of course, Daredevil was going to be the headliner, and if his show worked out, they could build out the universe with Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, Iron Fist, and Punisher. And the show didn't just work, it crushed it. In 2015, Netflix dropped
I'm wondering why they didn't connect it to the MCU, since the MCU was kind of was obviously popping off at the time. I don't know why they didn't connect it.
the first season, which once again took inspiration from Frank Miller's comics. We got to see Matt's origin story again, his fight against organized crime, and him rocking the black suit from The Man Without Fear. But this time, the tone was dark, realistic, and super violent.
It was too dark, man. Like, I get the theme, like, oh, it's a dark show and stuff, but bro, just turn up the brightness, bro. Please, bro. Not like, bro, just like turn it up a bit, bro. I can barely see your Daredevil half the time.
No more slow-mo or leather suits. The showrunners weren't trying to go for a casual audience like the MCU either. They aimed to tell the best story they could with a pretty tight budget and made it super clear this was a show for adults. The show format let them build the characters way better than any previous adaptation. We finally saw Matt's life as a lawyer, which barely got any focus outside the comics. We also got Kingpin's
good.
origin and rise to power, and they added key elements to the Daredevil mythos. In episode 2, Matt rescues a kid in an epic one-take hallway fight scene, something entirely new for superhero shows. Right now, hallway scenes are just part of Daredevil's identity. You expect one every time Matt shows up, and the cast absolutely nailed it.
Yeah, the
Charlie Cox
acting
really
was really good.
does look blind. Vincent D'Onofrio is both intimidating and unhinged, and even Toby Leonard Moore crushed it as Wesley, Kingpin's most trusted guy. Since it was such a high-quality show, people responded really well. Daredevil broke viewership records and became one of Netflix's highest-rated series, scoring 99% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Ooh, 99. Okay. Okay.
A whole new generation fell in love with Matt Murdock, something that never happened with the Ben Affleck version. Even MCU haters admitted this show was absolute cinema. Netflix didn't waste time greenlighting a second season, and they kicked off a whole street-level universe. Season 2 dropped in 2016, introducing Punisher, played amazingly by John
Oh, really good casting, by the way.
Bernthal. We also got Elektra, The Hand, more killer fight scenes, and strong character arcs. But that's when they got too ambitious. Trying to replicate the MCU's success in theaters,
they
Marvel
tried
and
to do
Netflix decided to
Defenders.
connect all their street-level shows in 2017 with The Defenders. In this show, we saw Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage,
that
and
Jane?
Iron Fist teaming up to fight the Hand and save New York. The premise and the intention were cool, but the crossover didn't have the impact they were hoping for. The best you could say is that it was decent, but that wasn't
think
enough
it's
for
the same
Netflix
actor.
to bring those characters together ever again. Even so, the season finale led straight into Daredevil Season 3, which loosely adapted the events of Born Again, the comic I mentioned earlier. Kingpin
Yeah, very
returned as the main
loosely.
villain, this time pulling strings behind the scenes and controlling the cops. They introduced Poindexter, an FBI agent Kingpin manipulated
became
into
Bullseye.
impersonating Daredevil to ruin his reputation. This season had some amazing moments, like Matt sneaking into a prison, a brutal fight at the New York Bulletin, and a final showdown with Kingpin. By the end, Matt wins without breaking his no-kill rule. It looks like everyone's gonna live happily ever after, until the last scene hints that Dex is becoming Bullseye. They totally set it up
Okay.
for a fourth season, but then the rights drama hit again.
Wait, was Poindexter never like? Hold up. What is Bullseye's name in the comics? Okay, so it is Poindexter. Wait. Okay. Yeah. Okay, that was weird. It's just, it sounded like people didn't know at the time that it was Poindexter. Yeah. There's Bullseye.
In 2018, Disney
know.
ended their deal with Netflix, so they could start making their own shows for Disney+. That meant all the Street Hero series got axed immediately. No one was gonna miss Iron Fist, but what was gonna happen to Daredevil? The show was still up on Netflix, but there was zero news about a possible fourth season. It was such a weird situation, because Daredevil was more popular than ever, and going through his best moments since the Frank Miller comics. But because of a rights issue, the show wasn't going to continue.
That is not
Took way too long. Okay, obviously I didn't watch the show when it came out, but like, yeah, think about it, like the people who watched it got left on that like cliffhanger. It's like what, 2018 to 2025? That's almost 7 years, or 2024. 6 years.
Fans launched the Save Daredevil campaign, begging Marvel to bring him back, calling it one of the best superhero shows ever. They couldn't just throw it away. But Marvel stayed totally silent about the Man Without Fear's future. Over time, fans started losing hope. Maybe Marvel didn't want to promote a Netflix show
I
since
think they were just trying to think how they would increment him into the MCU, I'm pretty sure.
the platform was a rival to Disney Plus. Maybe they didn't want a mature rated show in their lineup. Or maybe Kevin Feige wanted to reboot Miller's stories with his own spin. It looked like Daredevil would disappear for years because of this rights mess. But actually, Marvel wasn't being mysterious. They legally couldn't use the character for a while after splitting from Netflix. That's why they stayed quiet. We had to wait until late 2021 for Feige to finally say something.
Oh yeah,
about
that's when they
this. He
put him in
confirmed that
Spider-Man
if
No Way
Matt came
Home.
back to the MCU, Charlie Cox would still play him. He hinted that the Netflix series wasn't dead, and they'd pick up where they left off. And in December 2021, Daredevil came back. Vincent D'Onofrio popped up in Hawkeye's season
Oh,
finale,
well, that
and Charlie
first.
Cox had a short cameo in
Yeah.
No Way Home as Peter's lawyer. He didn't do much, but people lost it in theaters. This was an official confirmation that these characters were back for good. It was just a matter of time before Marvel announced they were going to continue the Netflix show, but now with Disney's unlimited budget, and they kind of did. At San Diego Comic-Con in
announced
2022,
Born Again.
Marvel announced a new series called Born Again, another nod to
Which took a couple years, you know.
that classic Miller comic. But no one knew what story they'd tell. Season 3 had already covered the Born Again arc. Fans started speculating, and some got nervous, because Marvel wouldn't say if the Netflix stuff was still canon or not. Charlie Cox and
Yeah, it
Vincent
definitely
D'Onofrio
was.
gave vague answers, saying their characters were the same, but the story might not be exactly the same. Basically, it sounded like a soft reboot. Some actors, characters, and plot points would stick around, but others wouldn't.
Yeah.
I'm so confused.
While fans were going
I don't think it was a soft. I'm pretty sure all the actors came back.
going all out on
for their
social
roles.
media arguing whether the Netflix show should be canon or not, Daredevil popped up again in the MCU. He teamed up with Jennifer Walters in the final episodes of
With the mustard suit, by the way.
She-Hulk, showing up both as a lawyer and a vigilante. This time, he wore the red and yellow suit from his early days. For a few seconds, we even get to hear the Netflix series theme song again. Wish I could play the whole scene, but I'm not risking the video getting taken down over 5 seconds of that song. Matt went back to being a ladies' man, and they brought back the iconic hallway scene, though it wasn't filmed as well as the ones we'd seen on
But yeah,
Netflix.
it was in She-Hulk, so.
Either way, Daredevil totally stole the show. Same thing happened in 2024 when he popped up again in Echo. He wore
He was in Echo? I don't think barely anyone
the
watched
red
Echo, I'm
suit
not
from
gonna
the
lie.
Netflix show and starred in a new fight scene that was awesome. It looked like Marvel finally got what fans wanted and planned to treat the character right in Born Again, which quickly became the
Yeah.
most hyped MCU show ever. But
It
then
was very hyped.
things got messy again. Turns out the more cautious fans were right. Marvel really was going for a soft reboot of the Netflix shows. Only Charlie Cox, Vincent D'Onofrio, and John Bernthal were coming back for Born Again. Karen
Well,
and Foggy weren't going to be in it, and Vanessa got recast.
luckily that wasn't true.
You don't need Reed Richards level IQ to know fans were not happy about this.
Luckily,
But
that
since
wasn't
Disney was
true.
in full content dump mode on Disney Plus, Feige had no choice but to greenlight the show, which started filming in 2023. The Daredevil fandom was full of doubts, since it looked like Marvel might want to change the tone of the show. Maybe they were going to turn Daredevil into a clown, like they'd done with Thor and Hulk. Things got even more uncertain when rumors about the plot started spreading. Apparently, Matt was going to stop being Daredevil off screen and only put the suit back on at the end of the season. The rest of the episodes were supposed to be all legal cases, just focusing on Matt's lawyer life.
No, that would have been so
But when everything
bad.
seemed lost, Feige ordered massive reshoots, worried the internet would tear the show apart and damage the Daredevil brand. This wasn't just a few extra scenes, like Marvel usually does. They rewrote the whole story. They brought back Deborah Ann Wall and Eldon Henson, and even got Aeled Zurer to return. They added direct references to the Netflix shows so everyone would know the past events were fully canon. And they threw in
Okay.
some amazing action scenes with the same style as the earlier seasons, but with way more budget. Just to give you an idea of how much they changed, the first 2 episodes in the season finale didn't even exist in the original version. It looked like this sudden shift was going to be for the better, but
The first 2 seasons of the what?
Daredevil fans still had doubts. Born Again was turning out to be one of Marvel's messiest projects.
It was very good. I liked Born Again. It felt a little bit rushed, but I think overall it was pretty good.
There was a good chance the show would end up as a terrible Frankenstein mix, like Suicide Squad from 2016, with the reshoots being super obvious. The only hope left was that Marvel had learned from its mistakes, and that maybe season 2 would be the one that actually worked. But Born Again proved everyone wrong. The
Yeah.
show kept all the best stuff from the Netflix series.
Yeah.
The acting is still top notch. There are some really cool long shot scenes with awesome choreography. The vibe is dark and violent. And throughout the whole season, we see
And I was able to see Daredevil in this one.
Matt struggling with his moral code. There are some seriously epic moments, like Foggy's death, the fight with Bullseye, or Kingpin smashing heads in the season finale.
Oh,
It's
that
still
was-
a bit too soon
That
to
was
say if
that was crazy. Kingpin's like doing that on a Disney Plus show?
these 9 episodes are on the same level as the Netflix version, because they're still pretty fresh in our minds. But at the very least, it's one of the best series in the MCU, and it kept everything we loved about live-action Daredevil. The only real letdown is that they killed off Muse way too
Yeah, that was apparently Muse was like a way bigger antagonist, so it's kind of a letdown they killed him off.
too
Here.
fast. But if they follow the comics, the villain might come back in season 2. I'm not going to tell you how, so I don't spoil the whole thing. After the great
I think he'll probably come back. I like, with them reshooting everything, kind of listening to the fans and bring back all the old actors. I think they'll definitely bring back Muse if enough people want him back.
response
Obviously.
to Born Again, the showrunner Dario Scardapani confirmed that season 2 is dropping in March 2026.
Oh, March. Oh my gosh, that's like next year. That's like in a couple months. What?
It's pretty likely that Disney will keep renewing the show for even more seasons, because after all these years, Daredevil is still a quality stamp for Marvel. Of course, Born Again wasn't the only show blowing up online in spring 2025.
Invincible season 3.
Season 4 also broke the internet,
Or
since
no, it was season 3.
Robert Kirkman's project managed to beat both Marvel and DC. I break down how
Invincible Perfection.
that
It's
happened
actually really
in this
good.
video over here.
One has 2 thumbs and doesn't give a crap.
That was a fun video. Looking at the rise and like fall. That was very fun. Excuse me. What is this? Okay. That was a very fun video, chat. Moving on to the next. Let's just do this one.
There are businesses whose sales are
This is gonna be a way longer video. This video is like 50 minutes, so I'm gonna try and not talk as much, but
decreasing, projects are failing, and team collaboration is practically non-existent.
shut up. Oh, by the way, the connecting all Scooby-Doo movies and shows the complete timeline. Scooby-Doo's coming out, to Fortnite. I thought might as well, right? Bring back some good memories and stuff. Love Scooby-Doo. If you haven't watched Scooby-Doo, even as like a kid, I think honestly you missed out. I'm not gonna lie, right? I think Scooby-Doo, one of the best childhood franchises. Okay. You got the intro theme is so iconic. The characters are iconic. I wouldn't say the villains are iconic, but the vehicle they use is iconic, right?
Scooby-Doo. Like, really, is there any other generational show bigger than this one?
Nope.
Ever since 1969, this franchise has kept going through multiple iterations and versions.
Yeah.
Just trying something different and yet familiar at the same time.
Like the thing, yeah, with Scooby-Doo, right? Like it goes generation to generation. Like I bet like maybe even like some of your parents probably watched the show, right? Or like seen the show as a kid, right? So it goes like generation to generation. Scooby-Doo is a generational show, right? It goes on generations, right? Starting from the 60s, right? And let's just say it goes on to 2018 for reasons. But like it's a very generational show. Like I bet like everyone like who's in their teens right now and up to their like 40s, maybe even 50-year-olds know what Scooby-Doo is, right? Because it just goes generation to generation.
Everyone grew up with their own version of the franchise.
Yeah.
It's kind of amazing. From the original run in the 70s to things like Puppy and Scooby-Doo and the weird 80s movies.
Yeah.
Or a 2000s kid like me growing up with what's new or Mystery Incorporated. And there's
Oh yeah, I grew up with Mystery Incorporated. It's actually on Netflix if you didn't know.
probably people out there who only knew Guess Who or even Be Cool. Yeesh. And hell,
I don't know
it's
about
still
that one.
going strong with its next announced series selling like a mix of 13 Ghosts and Yokai Watch, which
What? Okay, so they got Shaggy, they got Scooby, and everyone else is just gone.
Oh my god, this might be my new favorite Scooby-Doo thing ever. Now, normally I save Scooby-Doo for Halloween, like I did in my previous video covering those weird 80s movies, but it did bring up a question. How many of these movies had weird continuity discrepancies where it's hard to figure out where they lie, if they're in continuity to the main series or just weird isolated continuities?
how is it
And it made
connected?
me think of all the times these Scooby-Doo media have directly referenced each other or feel so blatantly disconnected. Is there a Scooby-Doo timeline we can map? What series and movies are connected and which aren't?
Yeah, I feel like, okay, first of all, I feel like Mystery Incorporated might not be connected. It's kind of hard to tell how they're connected because they stay the same age, obviously. Throughout the whole.
Is 13 Ghosts
time
canon to
they
Mystery
run.
Incorporated? Is Pup Named Scooby-Doo the definitive prequel in all other iterations? Is Be Cool canon to Zombie Island?
Oh my god, Zombie Island was a really good one. I remember they go to, oh my gosh, Zombie Island. Zombie Island was a good one. I love Scooby-Doo Zombie Island. I love zombies in general.
That
I love zombies and I love Scooby-Doo. Those two just.
Scooby-Doo has a Legend of Zelda-like timeline, including main timeline splits we can divide some iconic series and movies into. Can we make a consistent and concrete timeline map of the entire Scooby-Doo franchise? So in this massive rabbit hole, I'll no doubt lose my sanity trying to rationalize lore with a cartoon talking dog. Try to create the complete Scooby-Doo timeline. So just to be clear, this is how I'm going to approach this. I'm going to go through every Scooby-Doo movie and TV series in chronological
Every
order from
single
the
one?
first release to the latest release. They'll be put
Damn.
on this image and be connected to each other by lines. A red line is a concrete connection between pieces of media with actual evidence shown between them.
Okay.
A yellow line is a looser implied connection, one that has some connection enough to infer between them, but not enough to solidly say they're connected. Also,
Okay.
an Easter egg doesn't exactly mean a connection unless it's explicitly tied to a previous event that can't be a coincidence. It's kind of a case-by-case basis. If a movie has no connection, then it has no lines connected to it, and stays suspended,
Timelines are noted by the collared border around the frame.
but will
Okay.
be placed around the closest movie that it could be connected to. And at the end, we'll post a finished map to show the completed Scooby-Doo timeline. Also, just say that crossovers with Scooby-Doo don't count like the last Olympics or Arabian Nights, which
Man, I was hoping that like Scooby-Dooby-Doo WWE was.
just use Shaggy and Scooby as a framing device for a dumb Hanna-Barbera thing. Also, no things like the Scooby-Doo project or the Lego stuff, and only TV shows and movies, so no comics, so don't expect Scooby Apocalypse to show up.
What? Okay, it kind of makes sense that they have comics.
And let's get on with it, without further ado, with the first era, the Prime Era. Starting off with the original Scooby-Doo Where Are You in 1969.
Oh, I like that. I like that. I like this frame. This is a very well designed picture.
And what can you say about it? It's like the definition of a classic. Everyone knows it. It's super simple and super charming. King of teenagers and their talking dog into a bunch of antics and mysteries, solving cases of monsters actually criminals.
What is Shaggy's run, by the way? I don't know
And
how he
boarding
looks
and
like
unmasking
that.
them. It's just a great idea that invites so many fun episodes and situations, from locations to the huge variety of costume monsters and villains. It's no wonder the show became a smash hit and inspired a franchise after. Now, since it's the very first Scooby-Doo show, and by far the one that all the other ones reference, it's definitely the crux point of this whole thing.
Yeah.
But it does get a bit more complicated since Where Are You only had 2 seasons.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
seriously, the most iconic show of this mega franchise
What?
only had 19 episodes. What do you know? But of
The original only had
of course, the
19.
network wasn't going to allow their mega success to die so soon, and after a Scooby-Doo show was created, after another got through soon, making the Scooby-Doo show. The Scooby-Doo show is virtually exactly the same as Where Are You, introduces multiple villains people always lump to the original series, even though they're technically not in them. Like, seriously, the 10,000 Volt Ghost, the Tar Monster, Iron Face, the Ghost
Ah.
Witch, and Jaguar all
Jaguar? What the hell?
weren't from Where Are You, but this series, that's kind of insane to think about. Since there is really no
I don't know why. Okay, so they basically made another season, just changed the title, I guess.
difference between the series and so many people lumped in together, I'm going to classify Where Are You and the Scooby-Doo show as the same series just for convenience. So
Yeah.
right now, we put it right in the center of the wall as the origin of the timeline. Now,
Okay.
I did say there was another show that was between Where Are You and the Scooby-Doo show that I didn't exactly lump between them. And that's the new Scooby-Doo movies. Now, on the one hand, it is
Okay.
virtually the same formula and animation as Where Are You, with the gang going around and foiling villain schemes, but with
Okay.
one big change: guest stars. Yeah, every episode brings in
Ah.
some celebrity to join the gang in some way,
Okay.
and that's not it. They also bring fictional characters in the universe too, like the Three
Oh.
Stooges, the Addams Family, and even freaking
Wait, in the movies? Oh, they got Batman and Robin?
Batman. And because of that is why you need to separate it from the main timeline. Because, like, the celebrities are one thing, but
Excuse
if I
me.
also have to reasonably canonize freaking witches, ghosts in the DC universe as well as everyone else, I can't do it. I mean, like,
Why is Penguin so tall?
A nice freaking witch's ghost in the DC
Why is Penguin so? No, I think it's just his pants. I feel like Penguin is shorter. Anyways, sorry. What?
universe as well as everyone else. I can't do it. I mean, like, seriously, I can't have Scooby-Doo and freaking Batman share the same continuity. Hey, shut up, that's coming after. But yeah, because I can't in good faith link these
Wait, coming out after? I thought that was. I thought no collapse. I guess no collab movies.
crossovers to the main continuity, it
Maybe it
becomes
was
a
an
branching
episode.
timeline. So that puts the new Scooby-Doo movies offshooting from the main timeline, but separated.
We'll all have a snack. Bat milk and cookies for everyone.
What? What?
Bat milk?
Though, I must also talk about another movie, technically Scooby-Doo's first movie, Scooby Goes to Hollywood. Not many people know about it for
What?
honestly good
Okay.
reason. This one is weird. It's a completely meta movie about Scooby and Shaggy being aware of their role in their cartoon and then going out to make a new career in Hollywood. Then going on a bunch of antics around,
So they
starring in movie
pretend
parodies
to
before
be
being
Shaggy
inspired by all
and
his fans about
Scooby-Doo.
how much they love him and mean to him, inspiring to go back to
Aren't
the cartoon. But I think it's obvious too why this is a problem. It's a meta parody of Scooby-Doo as a franchise. Ironically,
so they're acting as themselves in the show.
this early, that's weird. But yeah, since it
So they
completely
pretend that they're not actually in the show and they pretend that they're actors.
destroys the entirety of Scooby-Doo as a show in universe, I cannot put this in the timeline at all. I have to consider it strictly non-canon, sorry. And then comes
Okay,
the
yeah, that
next
makes
big
sense.
one. Scooby-Doo and Scrappy-Doo.
Oh,
As you all know by this
Scrappy-Doo.
point, the franchise was starting to lose its steam and losing its user base with the threat of being cancelled. Kind of ironic considering the movie. Probably should say, Scooby-Doo, we don't need you. And like a lot of shows, they're doing a Hail Mary, introduce a new character in this, being Scooby's nephew, Scrappy-Doo.
Wait, that's his nephew?
Hated characters in this series and also animation in general. Now, again, I do think that Scrappy-Doo's hate is pretty overblown and mostly caused by the trope of blame the new overhaul for the downfall of his show, then the show's quality, and of course, James Gunn using it as the villain in the live-action movie.
Oh yeah, James. Yeah, I forgot. James Gunn kind of made Scooby-Doo movies. He directed them, I think.
And to be fair, Scrappy did
Or
work.
he
It
wrote
got
them.
Scooby-Doo renewed, and it did work out fine as a new dynamic in the show for a while. However, that whole saving the show thing did get an unfortunate turn where I guess the execs decided that, hey, Shaggy, Scooby, and Scrappy were the actually important characters in the show, and then just dropped all the other characters in the mystery element. And you might ask, wait, that's like
That's
literally the
dumb.
whole show. What are they gonna do?
They literally like cut in half the entire gang for Scrappy.
The answer to that is just antics. A lot of antics. I guess the writers just threw up their hands and stopped caring and just started to write with the most convoluted, most inane random plots I can
What?
think of that have absolutely nothing to do with the show. Werewolves, genies, aliens, magic. Well, not at this point. They had
Bro.
99 episodes to write. Who cares? It really was
They
one of
had 99 episodes. So they give 99 episodes to a spin-off, and they didn't even give 50 episodes to the original.
the lowest point in the franchise,
crazy.
and potentially why Scrappy is so hated, or at least a big contributor. And yeah, I'm not kidding, they made 99 of these. Well, 33 episodes of 3 segments, but still a lot. Also, there's a stupid cowboy spin-off with Scrappy and bootleg Shaggy and Scooby. I'm not counting that as canon, I refuse.
What? Wait, like why?
It then got another series, the new Scooby-Doo and Scrappy
Okay, so this one they just added Daphne,
Doo show, where I guess the writers finally wised up and brought back Daphne as the mainstay to try and
and
ground
that's
the show
it.
again.
They didn't bring back Fred or Velma for some reason.
It's weird because Daphne kind of didn't do anything in the original show, and ever since then the franchise has struggled with what to do with her. But making her the smart, grounded one instead of bringing Velma back is weird. This was a big improvement, finally letting loose of the bonkers anything goes type style of the previous show, returning a lot more to its roots, with Daphne basically taking the role of Fred and Velma. And it also
Yeah, that
does
was
establish
weird.
that the other mystery gang members are still around and seemingly moved on with their lives, which
Yeah.
Wait, that's
which
kind of
is-
what happened in Zombie Island, which the gang has become unsatisfied with their original series mysteries and split up as adults.
Okay.
So,
Wait, there were adults in that movie?
is this canon to that? Oh boy, that's a lot to think about, but we'll get there eventually. But yeah, this is where the original series was leading up to, and it's undeniably a continuation. But this does make an
Okay.
important difference, as while most Scooby-Doo series love to reference and bring up Where Are You and the Scooby-Doo show, nearly every show is hesitant to even acknowledge this one, likely because of the backlash and hatred of Scrappy-Doo
Yeah.
and pretend that he doesn't exist. But still, let's put it up on the map right after Where Are You? And then, to round out this part of Scooby-Doo history, we get the most out-of-pocket Scooby-Doo show of the era, 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo.
13
Scooby-Doo will
Ghosts.
occasionally branch out from its mainstay formula, for better or for worse, and this was
Okay.
arguably the first, not counting the bonkers era Scrappy-Doo.
Yeah, for some reason Shaggy changed his shirt. I don't know. He just decided he didn't like green anymore. Maybe.
But that's more just show degradation than a new
I
setup.
think that was like the only thing I know of that show.
This show drops the mystery formula for a new one, where Shaggy, Scooby, Scrappy, and Daphne travel to the Himalaya.
Again, where's Fred and Velma? Oh, they gave up. And by the way, I'm pretty sure like it's like canon that like Fred just like loves his van or something. Like he would never like leave it or something, and he just abandons it, I guess.
Where they accidentally open the chest of demons, unleashing horror sealed onto the earth, and are tasked by the sorcerer
Is it Doctor? Bro, they got Doctor Strange at this, and she looks like April O'Neil, by the way.
Vincent Van Ghoul, played by Vincent Price himself,
Vincent
sealed back
Van
the 13
Ghoul.
main ghosts in the chest with help from a con artist kid named Flim Flam. Yeah, it's pretty wild, but you know what? After so long, let's really try something out there and creative. Just go all out on it. It's actually a really fun and unique Scooby-Doo show, full of cool ghost antagonists with all sorts of crazy designs and powers and new locations and set pieces. Unfortunately, for how
Interesting.
creative and fun the series was, it only got one season, and the story
Okay.
never actually got a conclusion since they never actually cast the 13th ghost. And it's
Ah.
like, damn, if only Warner Bros. Would finally give fans of this show a chance to resolve this show's story in a loving and caring way that makes everyone satisfied. Hey, this foreshadowing is way too strong. It's getting
Whoa, I wonder what's gonna happen. It's gonna probably be like terrible.
distracting. But back on the
Ending.
topic, obviously 13 Ghosts connects to the new Scrappy-Doo show, but unfortunately, this is the last Scooby-Doo show in this direct timeline. So now we move to the next era,
Interesting.
the 80s post-Golden era. At this point, Scooby-Doo was
Post-Golden.
really slowing down, but as it been through the hiatus, it would eventually go a few years later. But the franchise was sustained by a few TV movies and one last separate cartoon before it. Now, I've already covered Scooby-Doo's weird 80s movies in last year's Halloween video, which I really recommend you guys watch
Okay.
on a full deep dive into these movies and my opinions on
Yeah,
it.
can we just
So
get-
I won't
yeah,
be as
can we get to the
detailed in the
timeline?
synopsis,
Sorry,
but
sorry.
if you notice, aside from the Scooby-Doo movies, the timeline has been pretty linear so far.
Yeah.
Now, this is where things start to go all over the place. Like, buckle up, from here on, it's going to be a ride. Starting with Boo Brothers. Now, I
Boo
would say
Brothers.
that this movie was about Shaggy, Scooby, and Scrappy going to Shaggy's deceased uncle's house to find
Wait,
his
how the hell did he? How did he get his head stuck in the? How did he get his head stuck in the wheel? The
I would say that this movie was about Shaggy, Scooby, and Scrappy going to Shaggy's
Okay.
deceased uncle's house to find his lost treasure he left for them, but that's not the plot. It's half a dozen side plots going on at the same time while the titular characters only do
What are these
anything
random
every 10
characters,
minutes.
bro?
I'm not kidding. This movie has more padding to it than Chevy Chase in the pillow fight episode of Community.
I don't know what that reference is.
The Boo Brothers
I don't
feel
know that
practically
reference.
irrelevant in their own movie, and yeah, pretty annoying. But at least it does have somewhat a linear plot if you can get past all the padding with all the antics interrupting it. But to the timeline, this is the first struggle. It has no actual apparent ties to the franchise, no mention of the Mystery Gang or what they're doing.
Where's the mystery van?
To this is Scrappy-Doo existing, so it has to be somewhere around this. Since Daphne's not seen her mentioned, it seems this was before she became a mainstay in the new Scrappy-Doo show. Shaggy is wearing his red shirt, which could imply that it's actually after 13 Ghosts. I kind of
Okay.
doubt it. I think Shaggy's shirt color is enough to canonize it. Besides, there's no way you'd be this okay with Ghosts after that. With the plot being how it is, it honestly fits right into a Scrappy-Doo show episode, which is the three of them dealing with antics that are also paranormal. And I
Okay.
feel that's where it best is. So I'm gonna put it with a yellow line through the Scrappy-Doo show. Next
Okay.
is Ghoul School, the fan favorite and my own favorite from this era. Now, I got a bit of flack
Ghoul
for including it in the
School?
Scooby-Doo movies no one talks about video, and while I do agree it was a bit exaggerated, I still think it's fair since Ghoul School is a part of this bunch, and come on, no one talks about Boo Brothers or Reluctant Werewolf on their own, so I think it's cool.
Wait, why the hell? Bro, what? Why the hell is why is he a werewolf?
Warranted. But yeah, I love this movie. I love the Grimwood girls. They're so fun and sweet. Love Shaggy and Scooby's relationship with them, trying to train them up and win the volleyball tournament. Even it does kind of take a sudden plot change to stopping an evil witch from brainwashing them as their minions. It's super charming and
Okay.
enjoyable and great for Halloween. I really do recommend it. And I also seriously wish the franchise would dig them back up and do something new with them, but granted with Mon Scooby-Doo,
Ooh, that's the conclusion?
maybe it's for the best. But for a
that the
timeline
conclusion?
inclusion, this is another tricky
Uh-oh.
one. Since again, there's no direct inclusion of canonicity, practically the same as Boo Brothers. Aside from this one, this is something I noticed, but if you pay attention, the truck Shaggy uses throughout the movie is actually the same exact truck he uses in 13 Ghosts. And no, it's not his asset reuse, as Boo Brothers, which came before, had Shaggy's
Okay.
completely different truck. So this is an intentional callback to 13 Ghosts, which pretty much confirms that this takes place in that continuity. And
Okay.
it's actually even on the Scooby-Doo wiki, someone said add that. Now, it's up in the air if it takes place before or after it, but I like to believe it's after. So they caught the 13 Ghosts off screen, and Shaggy and Scooby had enough of the spooky stuff, and thought to just take a job for a few months as coaches, and that's why they're so terrified to run into real monsters again, despite the girls looking so unthreatening. But after they moved past
Okay.
their fears they got, and learned to love her.
So they taught him volleyball. They get possessed, and they stop the. Okay, the story is I don't know about this one. I don't know about this one.
Respect the girls as
I don't know who's cooking in this kitchen. It smells a bit, you know, like you left milk in the fridge, expired milk, the cap off in the fridge for 2 days. That's what it smells like, and they're not good.
helpful monsters. It's adorable. This
Not
whole
good,
thing was
not
one of the
great.
reasons why I wanted to make this video, since I noticed the connection and thought it was interesting that they're technically connected. So yeah, I'm gonna put a direct link between 13 Ghosts and
Sorry.
Ghoul School. So I guess it's not perfect since there were also real monsters in some of the previous Scrappy Doo episodes, like where they help out the Halloween
What?
monsters for freaking Satana here. But
Wait, I thought there wasn't any. Okay.
who cares? None of those seasons made any damn sense anyway. Oh yeah, also OKKO. Forgot they reappeared there. Oof, how to put that in. I guess Enid is canon to Grimwood before or after this movie. I guess it wasn't that long a bus ride to original county. I mean, everyone else needs to end up there. I guess
What
it's
is
an
this
easy place
show?
to get to.
Wait, why is Sonic there? What?
So I'll just include it honorarily. And then bring us up to Reluctant Werewolf. Probably the biggest outlier of the
Oh.
bunch. There's no mystery gang again, but instead
Bro, what are these cars he's driving, bro? Just drive like a normal car.
Shaggy is randomly a famous race car driver and has a cheerleading girlfriend named Googie.
He has a
I guess
girlfriend?
Her parents just named her after the sound she made as a baby. There is Dracula, another Dracula from Ghoul School, and he wants to get Shaggy as his new werewolf driver for his annual monster racing tournament they just do for some
What?
reason. And he turns him into
Annual
one at the win the
monster
race
race
turn him back
car
to normal with these stupid
tournament?
hunchbacks trying to follow them in infinite antics. Yeah, honestly, this movie's even more petted than Blue Brothers and doesn't even have a linear plot
Okay.
to go with it. It's just a bunch of stuff.
I think Scooby Doo, like, it's cool they're trying out new ideas. I think they should stick to their formula. Right. I think that's what Scooby Doo is, known for, and I think a lot of people appreciate that.
Happening, and the race is actually pretty boring and irrelevant. It's moved more as a set piece than anything. They didn't take advantage of the race, and it's only just wacky races, but not as good. But
Score up to 60% off at Michael's Low
Bro!
in-store and
I was
online
watching
today.
that! Stop.
My skin, sensitive and irritated, so I choose
Why,
Venus
bro, why are
Extra
they
Smooth
live on
Sensitive with
TikTok,
skin soft
bro?
play-
it made it difficult to find anything to connect it to.
I don't know how he got a girlfriend, bro. Like, what?
When the
It's so
timeline,
random. It's just
like,
random.
at all. This doesn't feel connected to the Scooby-Doo franchise at all. Shaggy is randomly a race car driver, and Googie's treated like she was always there. In the video, I also theorized that it's an entirely different universe. Sabella never existed, so Dracula remained a crueler person. Shaggy never met the Mystery Gang, and instead focused his career as a racer.
He never met the Mystery Gang? Oh, did Shaggy always want to be like a driver?
Scrappy would have joined either way because of Scooby. And he got Googie as a girlfriend who was never mentioned before or after this movie. Like, really, this feels like a completely
Dang.
different universe with Shaggy.
This is a what if, guys. It's a what if. What if Shaggy would probably? I don't know.
And since absolutely nothing connects to the main
What if
timeline,
Shaggy never
I think to
joined
separate this from canon as a separate universe.
the gang?
So, with reluctance, it gets separated on the wall with anything to connect it in a non-canon space. And the last part of this era, and the last Scooby-Doo thing for nearly 10 years after, the beloved A Pup Named Scooby-Doo. This
Oh,
followed
that's
the
probably the
vilification
origin
trend that
story.
happened in a lot of franchises at this time, most notably like with Muppet Babies, but this one is one of the most memorable.
Okay.
Basically acting as a prequel where you have
This
the
doesn't
mystery
seem that
gang
bad.
as kids also going on mystery adventures fighting costume foes. And no Scrappy for once, but then again he literally wasn't born yet. It also confirms their hometown as Coolsville, which many other series would use as their town again. Now, this cartoon is notable for being the first in a long time to have the full mystery gang back together and solving mysteries.
It's kind of crazy. The first time they all fully come back is when they're kids. Not even like.
Which is weird how it's so notable that it's like the old Scooby-Doo show. But of course, it's a lot more over the top and cartoonish. But it's still a lot of fun, has some good gags and jokes.
Solve cases. Good idea. We interrupt A Pup Named Scooby-Doo for this special announcement. Freddy had a good idea. It's a miracle.
You know some of the characters like Daphne
What?
being a sassy rich girl and Fred being an over-top conspiracy theorist, having a massive burning hatred for this kid Red Harry, was blamed for the crimes. And they should have brought him back in later iterations. I need to see a grown-up Fred and grown-up Red interact and get in a fist fight. I need to see that happening. But for the timeline, it's clear it's a prequel to the original
Yeah.
series years before the original show, so it directly connects to Where Are You as a prequel series.
Okay, so it's up by guessing prequels and then sequels, I guess.
And it is kind of a good thing the series ended on a somewhat good note that a lot of kids remembered and loved, away from the messy, scrappy years. But it would be practically several years before the next Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, if people were hating on Scrappy, why'd they continue to make shows with Scrappy in it?
thing, and then bring up possibly the most important media after Where Are You? Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island, starting the next period, the Renaissance era.
Oh,
Apparently,
this
due to the
era was
popularity
good.
of reruns on Cartoon Network, the show started to regain a lot more traction than it once did, leading Warner to develop a direct-to-DVD movie for the property.
Ooh,
With
this-
Warner hands off,
This
it
is
made
the
staff
style.
have a
This is the style I
ton
was
of
used
artistic
to.
freedom with the work.
Actually, I
making
think it was. Do
by
I
far
remember
the
this?
most daring and advanced
I'm
piece
trying
of
to think.
franchise,
Remember.
creating the classic Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island. This film can be single-handedly regarded as reviving the Scooby-Doo franchise, like everything that came after is
I think I remember this. Obviously, I was alive at the time, but like I had a disc maybe of this.
because of this movie's incredible reception. And yes, it earns it. It has the legitimate
I think I remember that scene where the zombies were walking up. I think I remember it.
horror atmosphere brought to life with brilliant cell animation that looks so damn gorgeous.
Yeah, they updated the animation. Oh yes, I remember this. She was talking
A
to
bit of a
Fred,
mad
right?
take on-
I remember this. Yeah, they were all like separated. I remember this movie. Oh my gosh, I actually remember this. I don't know if I have the disc for it anymore, but okay, I do remember watching
franchise as it follows the gang years after Where Are You, where they became disillusioned with solving mysteries and
this. Yeah. Shaggy was he was a customs guy. I
split
remember
up on
this
their own
movie.
lives
This update to animation was very well done, by the way.
just to join together to try and find one last paranormal mystery and seemingly find it in Moonscar Island, which led to the pirates haunting the parrot plantation. And despite trying to find a reasonable solution, the gang isn't able to answer the legitimate spooky happenings until they're literally stuck in a zombie invasion running for their lives. It's so
This is a good
gruesome, so
movie.
intense, and it's so awesome. This movie isn't paced like a Scooby-Doo movie, but as a legitimate
Yeah.
one. It has genuinely great writing and
Okay,
lore.
I take back what I said about they should keep going with the same formula. If they keep doing stuff like unique stuff like this that are good, they should keep doing it.
And has actually interesting and dynamic twists. It's one of the most out there Scooby-Doo movies.
Yeah, like I'm pretty sure all the people. So they went to this hotel, right? And like they obviously had like servers and stuff, and like managers of the hotel. But all the people who worked at the hotel were like bad guys or something, or they were monsters.
And it barely even feels like a Scooby-Doo movie. And yet it's practically the best. However, you might have noticed this is a huge detraction for the rest of the show.
Yeah.
The gang are all back as adults, and Scrappy doesn't seem to exist or have existed at all. The movie practically ignores his existence and everything after, what he did in any paranormal events outside of Where Are You, only all being crooks in costumes. So, that's a timeline split at Where Are You in the opposite direction, which legitimately makes me believe in the split timeline. Scrappy is the key to this. There's two timelines.
Did he just bite off a bone?
One where after Where Are You, Scrappy is born and joins with Scooby and the gang, where they get a new steam with the new dynamic in the group, and eventually split up. But Shaggy and Scooby still have to take care of him, and go into antics and eventually meet the paranormal. But then there's a time where Scrappy was never born, and the gang got disillusioned much quicker, never finding any paranormal events, and splitting up to their different careers. Like, this weirdly makes sense. I'm not kidding when I thought there was evidence of a
So there's multiple different timelines. One with Scrappy, one without Scrappy.
whole Zelda timeline, but instead of Link defeating or falling to Ganon, it's if this puppy with the voice of a grown man was born or not. The Scrappy factor, if you will. So this timeline split, I'll do the Puppy Power timeline and the Scrapless timeline, where the good chunk of the next series will take place in. With the massive success of Zombie Island, of course the studio tried to make another one to follow it up, leading to the classic Witch's Ghost. This one is also a classic and super beloved in the fandom
I didn't watch this one. I know I watched Zombie Island. I don't think I watched
good
this
reason.
one.
It was the topic of my first Halloween video, and how perfect it was for the holiday season. And yeah, it really is. This movie is soaking in autumn aesthetics. I can't get enough of it. Not to mention the great new characters like Ben Ravencroft, played by Tim Curry, and of course, the Hex Girls. These awesome goth girls are one of the few characters to repeatedly come back in multiple Scooby-Doo iterations. for
Okay,
good
maybe
reason.
I've seen them in some other projects, but maybe in a different style.
They're fan
I don't
favorites.
remember
and so
watching
damn
this
cool.
specific
and
movie.
of course, the mystery was great too, having one of the best climaxes of the franchise with the awakening of the real Sarah Ravencroft, which that's cool, fun, and over the top
Looks fun.
ending. Like, oh my god, this movie is so good. Like, seriously, it's one of my favorites. Now, at first, aside from this being the next movie after Zombie Island having similar aesthetics, it doesn't have too much directly to do with that movie to call it connected. But there is one. Ben is seen reading the newspaper depicting the mystery gang full of monster, which was the opening scene of Zombie Island, before using it to get him to help him, confirming.
So maybe. Okay.
The two are connected.
Yeah.
Even though they're wearing their post-solving gear for that. maybe there was another Moat guy after. There was a pretty long time skip. But either way, Batman want their help after they went back to Mystery.
Maybe it was in between the movie. Oh, so it was before they got their different jobs, but after they got this guy.
Solving. But either way, Zombie Island and Witch's Ghost, direct connection. Next in this trilogy is Alien Invaders. Unfortunately, this movie does take a bit of a departure from the overt atmosphere and themes of the previous movie, with much more
I think Shaggy had the military in this one?
sunny atmosphere, but it's not going completely. It still shows the unsettling isolation of Nevada, where aliens can come out of nowhere. But the mystery isn't as strong, but man, its real highlight is the Crystal and Amber subplot that actually made Shaggy and Scooby compelling characters.
What? What is that
Applying
hairstyle?
for their perfect girls and trying to impress and be with them. It's absolutely so adorable and sweet. You never thought you'd get emotional.
So Shaggy just fallen in love.
Invested from Shaggy and Scooby. I really wish like the Hex Girls, they came back, but unfortunately they remain one-offs. But from the get-go, it seems like there's no connection to Witch's Ghost at all, except again being in the linear movie production. Except for this part that I think 99% of viewers did not notice. When Shaggy and Crystal are walking to the restricted area.
Yeah, I didn't watch this one either.
You can hear Shaggy talking to her, but it's super hard to make out.
Ah, he said the first 3 witches. Ah.
But if you listen closely, he's saying, we thought we got away from those first 3 witches when this ghost. This is a direct callback to Witch's Ghost when the 2 first met the Hex Girls, terrified that they're witches and ran away from being the fake ghost of Sarah Ravencroft. So this is a direct reference to something that happened in Witch's Ghost, confirming, yes, it did happen before. It's a great touch. Though, how did the rest of his story go? Did Shaggy say, like then Ben became a creepy wizard guy and threw all these crazy spells and then brought back the real scary witch who brought all these pumpkins to life and make a turkey giant that tried to eat us and we scared it away by
I feel like I should I sometimes want to rewatch like old like kid stuff or like stuff I watched as a kid, but I feel like if I do, it might just ruin the image of like the show, you know what I mean? So if I like watch like a kid show, and it's probably gonna be like, because it's not gonna be as I remember. Like as a kid, when you remember stuff, right? Stuff is way better than it is now, obviously, right? So you like loved this show, for example. You loved this, say, loved this Scooby-Doo show, right? The series, and then you look at the ratings. Oh, it doesn't seem that good. And then you rewatch it, and then you're like, oh yeah, doesn't really seem that good, right? But you still feel some nostalgic, right? So it just depends on how like impactful you would say that series was, if you'll still like it to today or not.
To be pilgrims. I'm not making any of this up, man. That's right. And there's the last one, Cyber Chase. Yeah, this one is weird, and I don't actually consider it.
I don't think I see this one. I don't think I saw this one either.
Fine, it's digitally animated, detracting so much from the gorgeous atmosphere of the other movies, looking more like an expensive What's New episode. It lacks the structure of the previous movies, having established mystery throughout before adding a genuine twist of the paranormal being real.
Okay.
It doesn't focus on one character, which sucks because God, Fred needs something. It also had much more studio involvement and managed with a contracted writer, never working on animation, with a ton of production trouble compared to the relative freedom the other movies
animation
had.
seems like it's getting
That
sharper,
doesn't feel
better.
at all like the previous movies.
Yeah, that looks better.
And yeah, it shows. I'm not a fan of it. It doesn't take advantage of the premise, just jumping to random areas for a few minutes with no consistency.
Why is there a
plot to get you
I guess
invested.
this
And
is the
mystery
digital
is
world,
completely
right?
non-existent. Like, geez, the virus keeps talking about baseball. I wonder if the baseball guy did it. It gets more interesting in the third act with the player characters
Wait, what the hell? Why is there double? Why is there double?
interacting with their real selves and fighting monsters from their past,
Oh.
but that's really it. I can't even pinpoint any part directly addressing the previous movies. I guess Cyber Shaggy is wearing the red shirt, but that's clearly just differentiated from Prime Shaggy. It's not like these programmers knew about 13 Ghosts, and that continuity is completely separate. The only direct line is from Where Are You with the Cyber Gang, and the villain's coming back, but I'll be generous and give a yellow line between Cyber Chase and Alien Invaders. I'd rather just watch this Cyber Chase. And that about ends the Scooby-Doo renaissance. These movies were so influential and popular, it brought Scooby-Doo back to the limelight and kickstarted a whole new era to capitalize on it and bring Scooby-Doo to the next generation in the revival era.
Yeah.
Starting with
this is the era I remember probably the most.
What's New Scooby-Doo? This is my and so
What's
many
new Scooby-Doo?
kids'
We're
introduction
coming
to
after
Scooby-Doo
you.
with a
We're
new
gonna
digital
solve
look,
that
bringing the show to a
mystery.
modern.
See you, Scooby-Doo. Bro, the intro was like so. I think it was the best intro. I'm not gonna lie.
era and an awesome theme song. Like really, this is the one thing that can rival the originals.
Yeah. Truce. Na 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 na
And yeah,
na
it
na
was a
na na.
true-
Oh my gosh, bro! Oh, that was so good. It was so good. I think I mainly watched the movies. I don't really remember watching the Where Are You show as much. Shows I watched Mr.
Bringing the
Incorporated.
characters and formula back since the Where Are You era. It's pretty enjoyable and fun, and a decent introduction to the franchise. Even kind of expanding on things like basically turning Daphne to MacGyver, making anything from her purse, which is a more reasonable role for her than a lot of the other later series tried to do. Also, playing around with the established stuff, like giving Mystery Machine lore and making Mutant
yeah.
Titan Shaggy one of the villains.
What?
I actually really like this episode.
That's
but
cool.
to continuity, it has quite a few connections. One is the first time the Haskell's came back with a new mystery, knowing the game. It was cool that it took place
Okay.
after Witch's Ghost, and the trio made it big. Unfortunately, their designs aren't as cool. So it's a direct connection there, but it's up in the air if it connects with Cyber Chase, so I'll put a yellow line. As
Okay.
well as that, there's the episode A Terrifying Run with
What
a
is
Menacing
that?
Hella Clown.
What the
What
hell?
is that title? Which had a great premise of Shaggy and Velma trading roles as the solver and the coward. Another great use of mixing things up with the established work.
That's cool.
Scooby and Velma will act as bait.
Would you do it for a Scooby Snap? Daphne, I may be scared, but I'm not desperate. Fine. Will you do it for a set of new encyclopedias?
But more importantly, they show a flashback to their pup named Scooby-Doo iteration, which has a direct callback to it, connecting it firmly on the timeline as well. Great
Okay.
inclusion. Now, What's New did spawn in a ton of direct-to-DVD sequels, but I am
Yep.
missing something important. The live-action theatrical movies. They
Ooh.
play just as much, if not even bigger part in reviving Scooby-Doo than What's New,
Yeah.
and they need to be addressed. Now, these are weird. They're a more
Yeah.
cynical, meta, and kind of raunchy take on Scooby-Doo, which I don't really like. And if
Yeah,
anything
I don't know
proves
about the
why I don't think it's a
movies.
good idea. These are such iconic characters. It's like we tried to make SpongeBob raunchy. It just doesn't work.
Yeah.
And, well, something later really did prove it doesn't work. It was actually
Matthew Leonard did pretty well as Shaggy though.
written by a young
I
James
think he did so well that he actually became the main Shaggy.
Gunn before he was in literally everything. To think, the guy running the DCU once wrote Shaggy and Scooby in a farting contest. A lot of the characters don't feel like themselves. I mean, okay, Matthew Lillard is perfect as
Yeah,
Shaggy.
he was so Matthew. I literally just said this. Matthew Lillard was so good as Shaggy. He literally became the main Shaggy of the Scooby-Doo universe, which is kind of crazy.
Point where he took over after Casey Kasem. What a legend. Linda
Yeah.
Cardellini plays a new cynical, sassy Velma, which is different, but works. But Freddie Prinze Jr. and Sarah Michelle Gellar just don't work as Fred and Daphne. Fred especially. He's not the same character at all, being a dumbass, narcissistic jerk, which isn't like Fred at all.
Yeah.
And Daphne is suddenly treated like she's always a damsel in distress and is working hard to get over it, which really wasn't a thing. Everyone was captured at some point in the show. And it
Yeah.
led to a bunch of revisionist history that Daphne was always a damsel, and so many shows after overcorrect to make her a cool badass or something. It feels so forced. And of course, the big one. Scrappy Doo was the villain the whole time, where they write him overly obnoxious out of a move of pure spite, being kicked out of the group. Now trying
Man.
to kill his old friends by turning to one of those things from Elden Ring. Oh boy, this was just
Yeah, this
pure
was
spite
not-
and complete character assassination on all sides. I mean, Scrappy was disliked because of his character, degradation of the show, and the silent acknowledgement.
Yeah,
of the
they
post
just
zombie
like get him out of here. Just like absolutely ruined Scrappy's character. You know what I'm saying? Like he's already terrible. You know, just like cut off the wires. You know, like the slight connection you might have had maybe to a certain group of audience. Just cut that wire. Just cut it.
the island era to erase him, but this just cemented it to the impressionable kids that Scrappy was a horrible inclusion and the biggest contributor to the Scrappy hatedom, which really sucks. But this does put the movie firmly in the Puppy Power timeline, with another timeline split before the new Scrappy-Doo show, where the group abandoned Scrappy and kept going on mysteries by themselves before quitting. Like, seriously, that's where this movie lies. The sequel dials it back a bit and tries to be more grounded than the insane monster soul-stealing plot of the first movie.
Grounded?
Now
A
having
Scooby-Doo movie being grounded. It's crazy.
their past villains be revived as real monsters on the attack. But it still has some of those awkward elements like a bad romance subplot with Velma and Seth Green here.
Who's your mommy?
What?
My mommy?
And Shaggy and Scooby
What
trying
the
to
hell?
prove themselves as worthy, but also getting too weird antics. But they do reveal some important timeline stuff. One, that's obviously still after Where Are You, but also confirming Pup Named Scooby-Doo happened. Not only just that they're
Okay.
confirmed to be in Coolsville,
I think Coolsville sucks.
but also that Chicken Sam was one of the costumes on display.
Or hates
So,
his
yeah,
hometown.
Scooby-Doo 2 is also directly connected to Pup Name. But we did get a plethora of direct-to-DVD movies after What's
Oh,
New, carrying
this is the peak stuff. This was the stuff. The DVD stuff, finally.
much of the style and formula to the point where mostly they were just extended and bigger budget What's New episodes. Now there are so
Oh my gosh, the Egyptian one. Oh my gosh, this one was so good.
many direct-to-DVD
I remember this. I remember the Cleopatra or something. This is the mummy. She like raised everyone from the dead or something.
movies. So I'll try to be as brief as possible unless I have something I want to say for these. So I'll try
I
to lightning
remember
round
this
it.
one.
First one, Legend of the Vampire. Mystery Inc. has to stop a vampire demon, the Yowie Yahoo, from abducting contestants of an Australian music festival. Wait, the Yowie Yahoo is from real Australian folklore, and it's a
I don't remember that
Sasquatch, not a vampire. What gives?
I don't
also,
remember that
disappointingly, it kickstarted the trend of usual bad guys in masks than the Renaissance supernatural stuff. Anyways, the X-Girls play a huge part of the music plot, being contestants in the story, and
That's
they're in the
cool.
What's New
Oh yes, yeah.
iteration, so it ties directly to that. Next, Monster of Mexico.
Oh my gosh, this one was so good. Oh my gosh, honestly, I think this one or the Egypt one was the best like Scooby-Doo movie ever, bro. Besides maybe Zombie Island. This is up there, bro. Oh my gosh, this is actually so good. This one was actually so good. This one was
The
actually.
gang goes to Mexico on Dia de los Muertos and end up having to stop the Chupacabra on the loose.
Oh, this is so good.
Wait, that's the Chupacabra?
President Donald Trump is expected to sign an executive order to shut down the
Yep. Why is it 15 seconds? Again, yo, YouTube, can you fix this? Like, stop giving me 15-second ads, please. Please, bro.
It's depicted as a weird alien-looking
Hold up.
reptile or a vicious canine, not this weird purple Bigfoot. Wait,
I liked it, man.
so they turned a Bigfoot into a vampire, and then turned a vampire into a Bigfoot. Did the script get switched
It was good.
somewhere in production? Anyway, they
I
passed
liked
by a
it.
theater with posters for the Vampire Rock Music Festival, which happened last movie, so a direct connection.
Oh.
Loch Ness Monster. Daphne visits her cousin Shannon in their ancestral castle in Scotland.
I
what
don't
the hell,
remember this
Daphne is
one.
royalty?
The one thing we Blakes have been known for is being, how shall I put this? Danger prone. What?
I don't remember this one.
And have to stop the Loch Ness Monster for ruining it. And the
Yeah, I
Animal
don't think I
Games.
watched this
Now,
one.
something's returned like Natlas from What's New, but there's not much that connects to the previous movie, so I'll have to give it a yellow lion. Aloha Scooby-Doo. The gang's trip to Hawaii.
Ooh, this
It's
one.
directed by a vengeful tiki god, Wiki Tiki, which is maybe
I
the
think I
dumbest name
remember
I've ever
this
heard.
one.
There's a forward no solid connection, yellow lion. Scooby-Doo, Where's My Mummy?
Oh, this one. This is it, though, bro. This is one of the better ones. I think top 3, honestly.
The gang are in Egypt, fighting off grave robbers and dealing with the ghost of Cleopatra's curse. Also, a weird lost city of Egyptians and a giant robot scorpion for some reason. Now, I will admit, one thing I love about this movie, spoilers if you really care,
Yeah, I've seen
that the
already.
one behind it was actually Velma, taking
Yeah.
a cue from their past posts to become a scary monster trying to keep grave robbers from robbing the tomb. I actually think that's a funny
Yeah, that's cool. That's a cool concept.
idea. Unfortunately, no connections, yellow line. Pirates Ahoy. I remember this one aired on Cartoon Network a few times. Mystery Inc.'s cruise to the Bermuda Triangle goes awry when Johnny pirates take over to find the lost treasure. Also, this confirms
I
Fred's
remember.
parents. If you watch Mission Incorporated, this will mess you up. So, different
think I
timeline.
remember that.
But no direct continuity unless you got Shaggy saying this is a reference to the other movies, but it could just be a blanket term. Or just the reused assets from What's New. Yellow. Chill out Scooby-Doo. Shaggy and Scooby get lost in the Himalayas, all while the abominable snowman lives
I don't
around.
remember this
also,
one
I love that they
either.
would call back to Casey Kasem's radio host career.
Like, put down your snow shovel and pick up that thin air guitar. It's
Maybe.
time to stay in and rock out.
Now, as a change,
Maybe.
it does have direct continuity as Del Chillman from Loch Ness Monster reappears, so there's a direct link to that movie and Yellow to Pirates Ahoy. Goblin King. Okay. Magician steals fairy princess to rule magic and the world as Scooby and Shaggy Guy go to the spirit world to stop them, meeting with magical monsters and the Goblin King
I
scepter to
don't- I
save
don't- I
Halloween
didn't
and their
see
friends
this
from
one.
becoming monsters. Okay, I can't deal with this. This is too
Bro,
bonkers and
what?
insane. This is like some
No.
serious Scrappy
No.
2 show level stuff, and this comes right the hell out of nowhere.
Nah.
I can't in good faith make this canon. It does not feel
Nah,
real.
nah.
And lastly, for the bunch, Samurai Sword. After going to Japan for a
Ooh.
martial arts tournament for Daphne, the gang had to stop the
Yeah, I
resurrection
don't.
of
I
the
don't.
Black Samurai.
Okay, so
from
I thought I watched a lot more. I don't think I did. I remember watching those two specifically. and then I
conquering the
remember
world and
watching
destroying the
Mission
modern era.
Incorporated.
Yeah, like before, it's another supernatural one, but this one is at least somewhat grounded and more fun. I kind of enjoy how weirdly crazy and dumb it
Maybe.
is, but also kind of cool and
Maybe.
epic. And it also gave us this line.
No.
I still don't have a catchphrase.
I mean,
Damn.
any movie that's a samurai duel with Scooby and a ghost has to
Yo,
get some
that's
points.
tough. That must be tough. I might watch that.
It's probably my favorite of these movies. Unfortunately, no direct connection, so yellow again. So that's it for the revival era movies. But now
Okay.
it's time for the show you've all been waiting for.
Mystery.
Wait, what's this? Oh yeah.
What is
Get a clue.
this?
I never saw this as a kid since it never aired on CN, so it's kind of obscure and maybe for good reason.
What?
Yeah, this is the most detached Scooby-Doo series since 13 Ghosts. And it's about
Huh?
Scooby and Saggy separating from the Mystery Gang, inheriting their rich uncle's mansion, all the crazy devices, robots, and vehicles.
What?
And have to stop a supervillain from gaining access to the nanotech technology that allows Scooby to shapeshift and gain superpowers since they only work on animals before he takes over the world and becomes immortal. Yes,
What?
this is real. Someone actually made this. I'm not gonna lie,
Huh?
this show feels like someone really wanted to turn Scooby-Doo into Venture Bros. Like, really wanted to. Like, really wanted to.
Yeah,
it's
I
one of those
don't
cases
know.
where Scooby-Doo barely feels like Scooby-Doo, and it's so awkward to watch. It feels so utterly detached.
It's
like,
just a completely
seriously, you just
different
swap
show with
virtually
Shaggy and
everything out,
Scooby.
It would basically work the same, if not better. Also, Scott Manville as Shaggy is just annoying. I'm sorry.
Ooh, it's my Uncle Albert's secret lab. Toby! Oh no, what have I done? I vaporized my best friend!
God, you were Robin. Now, normally for
Oh
the
wait, that was the voice actor for Robin?
weird-ass nanomachine plotline Scooby-Doo, I would just consider none of this canon.
I didn't even. I couldn't even tell.
Except for a big one. In the episode Mystery of the Mystery Solvers, they play out the two's history solving mysteries around the world, which has actual footage from Loch Ness Monster, Monster of Mexico, and Pirates Ahoy, even awkwardly dubbing Scott over Casey. So, damn it, it's canon. It directly acknowledges the What's New movie, so it has to be on the timeline. Damn it, now the stupid nanomachines are canon to Zombie Island. I can't believe it. Okay, now it's time for the best one of all, and oh, come on, I forgot something else.
Wait, what is this?
Yeah.
Another live action, bro? Oh, but Scooby. What?
So in 2009, Cartoon Network tried again to make a live-action movie with a TV budget and a somehow worse Scooby-Doo model,
Oh, whoa.
and a Shaggy that looks just like Peanut Butter Gamer. Also, come on, you couldn't find
Wait, is
a
that?
Fred that looks anything like him? Was it?
That's the guy. That's the guy from The Flash. That's the guy from The Flash, the fire guy.
That or to find a blonde kid, or at least give him a wig. It also got a sequel the next year, Curse of the Lake Monster. These movies really aren't good at all, but hey, I'm sure they entertained some kids, and at least they tried with know that their microscopic budget. But still, they had no right to exist. But on the timeline, it's a brand new continuity, Sarah was established, so it gets isolated to its own section.
Okay.
Now enough about those. Now to the real crown jewel of the
Mystery
shows. Scooby-Doo
Incorporated.
Mystery Incorporated.
This is a peak show. All original designs, really good like storytelling, and it's traditional Scooby-Doo.
Rated.
Good intro as well.
This series
I wouldn't say it's better than What's New Scooby-Doo, but it's still good.
does not feel real. It feels too good for Scooby-Doo.
Yeah.
The animation, spectacular.
Yep.
There's amazing colors, shading,
Uh-huh.
lighting, movement, angles,
Yep.
designs. From
Yep.
the art of Derek J. White, one of my artistic heroes.
It's very good art. I love the art
This
style.
has an actual, interesting, serialized plot line. Like, there's an overarching mystery and plot that's genuinely engaging
And it's not like a mystery every episode that changes. It's like one big mystery
and fantastic with
for
some
the entire
twists,
show. Like, oh my, I love this plot line. I love this plot line where they had the different like mystery incorporated gangs. Like, it wasn't just Scooby, Shaggy, Fred, Velma. Like, I like how it was more, and they all have their own like talking
feels
animal.
and turns. The theme's darker and engaging, by far the darkest and most gruesome.
That actually scared me as a kid.
Feels and turns. The theme's darker and engaging.
This scene right here.
By
This scene right here actually scared me as a kid. It was absolutely terrifying.
far the darkest and most gruesome Scooby-Doo things in Zombie Island,
Oh, I love the theme, by the way. The theme of the parrot.
and yet still lighthearted.
But you've got a job as a teacher. Why do you need more money?
Some of the best.
See, like, I like how they acknowledge that as well. Like, they still have like kind of like, I wouldn't say adult jokes, but like jokes that older people could understand. Not just kids'
Scariest,
jokes.
well-designed monsters and antagonists in the series. The characters are actually interesting and dynamic and have legitimate arcs.
Yeah,
This show made Fred the most interesting character. Think about that. It even gives an explanation on why Scooby can talk. Seriously.
Yeah.
This show is so spectacular, and I think it's the most you can do with the Scooby-Doo series. Hell, I think it's held back being a Scooby-Doo series. It
What?
more than deserves its reputation and stands firm being my favorite series. But the
Oh, sorry. Yeah, okay. Yeah, this is. I think this is probably the best show. Was it better than the movies? I want to say yes, but then the movies has so much nostalgic. This is also nostalgia, but I'd say this show's better.
The timeline, Mystery Incorporated actually clearly states its place. It takes place in Crystal Cove, not Coolsville, so it's not canon to Pup named. But they established the Mystery Gang as a museum dedicated to their past mysteries, showing a good chunk of the Where Are You rogues. But also, in the episode The Siren Song, they confirm 13 ghosts happened, with Daphne remembering Flim Flam.
25 to life is a long stretch, even for a pre-teen con artist.
God, that's brutal. But they also acknowledged Scrappy existed, even if just for another crappy dig.
Haven't seen.
Look away, Daphne. We all promised each other that we would never speak of him. Not ever.
But hey, this confirms that Mystery Incorporated is in the Puppy Power timeline, and that takes place after 13 Ghosts, though no relation to Ghoul School. But wait, Vincent Van Ghoul also appears, but he's not a powerful warlock. He's a washed-up actor in horror movies. Huh? Wait,
Okay,
so then they can't be the same character. But yeah, you confirmed Flim Flam and Scrappy? So, what happens? I didn't account for this. What happens when the show confirms and then retcons the show at the same time?
That's confusing.
Like, really, what do? I can't juggle this. Maybe he lost his power? Brainwash Shaggy and Scooby? Is this another guy who took his identity? But wait, shouldn't they remember him? Ugh, I don't know what to do. I guess I'm gonna make a new connection to this. I gotta make an orange line between this and 13 Ghosts for a direct continuation and a big retcon at the same time.
I didn't know. I think that was the only part that they mentioned Scrappy.
Also, I remember the Hex Girls were in this, which would have to connect to the Scrapless timeline, but then I remembered, no, these girls have a new origin in how they met and befriended the Mystery Gang, helping them solve a case. So it's actually a parallel version of the girls. So yeah, timeline sustained. Also, love them here. The second best inclusion of the girl since Witch's Ghost. And that about does it for the revival era. That era not only brought back Scooby-Doo, but arguably brought it better than before.
Yep.
Mostly because of Mystery Incorporated.
Yeah.
Scooby-Doo now a part of the cultural zeitgeist. It leads
Then
us
it's
to the
gonna
modern
go-
era.
oh.
And we got so many movies to cover. So we gotta make it
Oh,
even
let's hear this.
briefer.
I don't remember watching any of the modern movies.
So it's another lightning round. I can't even love the modern era movies to what's new, so I'll have to independently put them in this Scrapless timeline with maybe a connection between Where Are You? Abracadabra Do, no connection. Camp Scare.
Don't remember
One of
that
the better
one.
received modern movies, but still no connection. Legend of the
Oh, I've seen clips of this. I remember this is where he kind of went like Super Saiyan.
Phantosaur. One of the best modern movies. Like, seriously, it's fun as hell. It was responsible
Yeah.
for the Shaggy's Ultra Instinct power meme that became
Uh-huh.
massive.
Yep.
To the point of being actually acknowledged in
I think maybe I've watched a
official
couple
capacity,
modern movies.
which is amazing.
Yeah.
This movie references the Camp and Camp Scare and the DPS in Abracadabra Do, so it's a direct connection to both. Music of the Vampire.
I remember this one. Okay, so I do remember watching this one.
This one's a musical for no reason, but no Hex Girls this time, and so it sucks.
I think I remember watching that one. I remember the title. Did I watch this?
Also, Velma nearly kills them all, but that's what you get for letting the nearsighted girl drive. No connections. Big Top Scooby-Doo. Clown Daphne. Also this. What the hell were
Ooh.
they thinking?
Can I borrow your shades?
No.
Chillax. I was just asking.
Easter egg to Phantosaur, so I'd say it's connected with a yellow line. Blue Falcon. Stop trying.
Oh my gosh, Blue Falcon was so good. Blue Falcon was so good. Okay. This, oh my gosh, this is top 5 at least. The villain with the Frankenstein. The movie's still trying to seem like.
Make the Blue Falcon cool. He's not cool. Mystery Incorporated did it best. Also,
Yeah, Blue Falcon and that was also good. I like the
so come on, Hanna-Barbera
Oh, this was so good.
Cinematic Universe. That's stupid. It does.
I
some
like
Easter
that.
eggs, but not enough to make a solid connection.
Ah.
Adventures of the Mystery Map. What is this Muppet? Does this even count? I don't know, but it's directly referencing Pup named Scooby-Doo, so I guess I get the spot. Stage Fright.
Okay.
I really love this opening theme so
Wait.
much. Scooby-Doo, so I guess
Hold
I get
up.
the spot. Stage Fright.
Oh no, I don't think it was the musical. I remember seeing the title of the musical. I think it was
I
this one.
really love this opening theme so
Was
much.
it this one? I don't know. I'm trying to remember. I remember watching Blue Falcon. I like Blue Falcon.
but unfortunately, no connections. WrestleMania
Okay.
Mystery.
This I think this movie introduced me into the WWE. I want to say this is a good movie. This is a really good movie. I like this one. I like this type of monster. I like how like John Cena fought them back. It's a good one.
Now, this is one of those weird shove WWE into Hanna-Barbera for some apparent reason movies, but at least it makes sense here with the franchise celebrity crossovers. However, I'm not inclined to put crossover materials in the complete canon, so whenever there's something like this, it gets connected to the new Scooby-Doo movie timeline, where crossovers happen all the time. So that finally did come back, and that gets a new connection. Frank and Creepy, a much more notable movie in the fandom than the rest. Now, this movie loves its hyper over-the-top editing almost as much as it loves being insanely fat-phobic. Like, actually go to hell movie. The franchise constantly tries so hard to make Daphne more than a shallow, vain damsel character by forcing, no, she's a badass stuff. But when you literally have her request to get rid of what means most to her be, oh no, I'm not convincingly attractive anymore. You destroy all of that and practically just reaffirm she is just as shallow as ever, so good job. Also, yeah, impressionable audience and girls with body issues, if you're overweight, you're ugly, and your life is ruined, what the hell were they thinking?
Yeah, I don't know about this one.
Beautiful.
I don't know about this one.
No.
Damn.
I'm Abigail Spanberger, candidate for governor.
Damn. Stop giving me this.
What did she say?
I'm not voting.
I realize, you know, now there's so many great things.
Like, shut up, bro. Please. Please stop giving me the damn 15 seconds ad for damn. I'm not voting for the government, bro. I'm not voting. I can't even vote.
But aside from that, I have a love-hate relationship with this movie because I love so much of its atmosphere, theme, and editing, trying something new, but the plot is all over the place, and it goes so hard to force. No. This was all normal. All of it. That would be more believable if it was magic. Like, this actually broke me trying to comprehend it. But, spoilers, I guess. It turns out that behind it all was actually a good chunk of their older enemies from Where Are You coming together to get revenge in this convoluted scheme. So, yeah, concretely after Where Are You? Moon Monster Madness. One of the most out there plots having them to go to a moon colony under attack by a xenomorph. This is the most active sci-fi Scooby has gotten, and I love it. Some of the best backgrounds and designs of the franchise. Leagues better than Cyber Chase. Unfortunately, no connections. Okay, let's take a break from the movies and go into the next TV series that came out. I mean, after Mystery Incorporated has to be good. Oh, sweet lord! Yeah, Be Cool Scooby-Doo has the reputation of being the worst Scooby-Doo show with astronomical.
I'm not a fan of the art style.
Alone with people calling it Family Guy Scooby-Doo. And
I
can't
see
deny it there. It does mimic that cheap adult cartoon look with the characters so flat and caricaturized. It seems off. Like, seriously, take any show with supporting characters and it looks like some one-season Adult Swim garbage. Not to mention coming so soon after Mission Incorporated. That's unfortunate. But it started to get more appreciation when people moved past that, notably for its great comedic writing. And yeah, it definitely had some good moments.
It's basically a death trap of higher education.
Higher education? Geez, Scoob, your electrical engineering degree is coming in handy.
What?
Finally, you have the right to
Wait, what? Bro has what?
should you choose to be tried as a mime.
Have such a smart boyfriend!
Knock it off, Blake!
I'm a goth. A goth?
How do we defeat it?
No, goths are a subculture that began in the 1980s with the goth rock scene.
I think what?
It's kind of like a Scooby-Doo post, arguably perfect for the modern era. If it didn't have the off-putting style, no doubt it would be better received. Though it does also have that we don't know what to do with Daphne problem too by making her just overly quirky. Interesting, the series seems to actually contradict Where Are You by having the ghost of Elias Kingston come back almost like an AU of the original series and not as a returning antagonist. So it's like a new version of Where Are You, so isolated it is. Okay, let's keep going with another movie lightning round. Kiss Rock and Roll Mystery.
Ooh, this one was also
good. This movie as Kiss actually be interstellar alien sewer-powered guardians of a space treasure in a super over-the-top way. But wait, wasn't their appearance in Fairly Odd Parents literally the same exact thing?
Do I remember this? I don't know. I feel like
they asked
for
this.
I do.
That's got to be the only answer. But again, it's a crossover, so that goes into the new Scooby-Doo movies timeline.
That was a good one.
Still not gonna get over this. How did this happen?
I don't remember. I remember like the ending of it.
Wait, Kiss also randomly appeared in an episode of What's New, and they weren't that. Again, two timelines, so parallel versions. Curse of the Speed Demon, another WWE crossover, but they're not actually wrestling, but driving.
Yeah, I don't remember this one.
Did they have crossover with NASCAR for this?
I don't remember.
At least Top Gear. Anyway, this does directly connect with WrestleMania Mystery, so direct connection. Shaggy Showdown, disappointing Western. But Fred mentions Camp Little Moose from Camp Scare, which is a long callback, but hey, direct connection. Batman the Brave and the Bold. Yes,
This one.
randomly crosses over with the Batman the Brave and the Bold series long after it ended. And I love it. Oh my god, this is great. Not only do I like this show, but
Oh, they got the
Scooby
Martian.
Gang literally helps Batman solve the one crime he wasn't able to and face off against his rogues. It's so damn cool.
Oh,
How
that's
amazing this
cool.
exists.
That's pretty
Again,
cool.
being a crossover, it counts as a new Scooby-Doo movies
I
timeline.
I
But you
kind of
might
want.
ask, wait,
I feel
isn't
like I
this
kind of want to watch some of these. I don't know.
continuity era? They met Batman before. Yeah, but this is the DC universe. You know how many universal resets go on? The New 52 probably happened. That episode got reversed. There we go. Daphne and Velma. Now we're talking about. Gourmet Ghost. Crossover with Bobby Flay, but it was with Guy Fieri. Moonscar Mansion from
do I
Zombie
remember this one?
Island randomly appears in a painting. I doubt it means anything, but just put it to foreshadow the next movie. Crossover, so
Zombie. I think I remember
new
that one.
movies again. Return to Zombie Island.
Oh no! I saw this one. I saw Return to Zombie
Now
Island.
this movie clearly isn't canon because it sucks and ruins the best Scooby-Doo movie for no
think.
goddamn reason and doesn't deserve to exist. Seriously, who thought this was a good idea? Who ordered the most influential and well-regarded Scooby-Doo movie must be retconned out of continuity just as a complete asshole for no reason other than to piss off the fan base? Like, what was your goal here?
Okay, never mind. Do I remember this one? I don't think I remember this one.
Modern Scooby-Doo, for some godforsaken reason, has decided that the paranormal just doesn't exist at all, and does everything in its power to establish that, aside from the entire franchise revolving on a walking, talking dog. And you know, it's fine enough when you just make a movie like that, even if it gets stale super quickly. But
I don't
when
know.
you literally go out of your way to ruin other movies, you go straight to hell.
Is it
The
this?
most loved, influential,
I don't remember. I think I watched the Return to Island one.
respected media have paranormal elements, and this is the biggest insult to it ever. Just bury that legacy for a half-ass boring generic treasure plot. This is
Yeah, I think I saw this one, not the original.
regarded as the worst Scooby-Doo movie, and goddamn, it deserves it. It makes me want to punch the exec who made it. It's a blatant retcon doing stuff that literally did not happen in the first movie, so it doesn't get a connection.
Yeah,
you know
no,
what?
I think it was the next. That
You don't
one.
even deserve to be on the wall. You get in the garbage where you belong and go rot in it.
Damn.
Oh well, at least this can't get any worse. Curse of the 13th Ghost. So,
Oh,
remember
no.
13 Ghost fans that never got a chance to see the series end?
Oh,
Well,
is
now
this
they
the
did over
conclusion?
30 years later. It brought back Vincent and Flim Flam too, now as an adult. That was nice of them. Man, are they gonna give it any dignity?
I think I've watched this
Nope.
one.
Nope, you get another retcon. Apparently, all of that stuff from the show wasn't real. Everyone just hallucinated that shit because of Himalayan swamp gas. Isn't this good? Is this what you wanted for a conclusion to this story? Or ultimate retcon that never happened? What is the goddamn deal with these? Nobody cares about this paranormal stuff in this show. Why are you actively retconning it?
I'm a magical being, and I
Do some magic.
no.
You might as well just not continue
what?
if you're gonna try and actively ruin it. Is there just some guy in the office who despises anything paranormal and throws a fit if it's around? Like Ghoul School's a beloved movie with magic and a retcon that it was a normal boarding school and Scooby and Shaggy were just tripping because someone spiked the Halloween punch. These movies are complete insults to the franchise and are the worst
Yeah.
of the worst the series offer.
Yeah, I can see why.
Retcon does not exist. It's not canon. It goes to the garbage as well. Hope you enjoy the company. Happy Halloween, Scooby-Doo. Now, hearing that this movie takes place in Crystal Cove, I was petrified that we're gonna do that retcon shit again and ruin Mystery Incorporated by going,
Nah, I
"Yeah, that
remember
plot
this
never
one.
happened." Everyone was just high on Scooby snacks.
I
But
remember this one.
thankfully, it doesn't do that. It's just basic set dressing. It also has appearances by
I think I remember
Elvira,
this one.
Bill Nye, and Jonathan Crane,
Bill Nye.
aka the Scarecrow from Batman. Yeah, there's no reason he's
What?
just here too. It's
Just
supposed to
got
be
the
Mad Max
Scarecrow.
style chase, but hey, I'm glad they didn't retcon anything. It's a fun enough movie, especially after that. But wait, so it takes place in Crystal Cove, heavily implying Mystery Incorporated, but it's also a crossover. Crap, I don't know what to do.
Maybe Bill Nye just exists.
I guess it's a timeline
Retrospect me. Oh, yellow.
convergence.
Okay.
The puppy powering crossover timeline has finally come together. I don't know, take it as you will. Well, let's take a break from that to cover the last Scooby-Doo show, Guess Who Scooby-Doo. This is actually a huge homage to the new Scooby-Doo movies, having the same exact premise with a guest star in every episode, but in the modern day. Honestly, not a bad idea, and was a much more active
That's
return
cool.
to form. It was fun enough, but it was still just really normal Scooby-Doo. What's he
excuse
gonna
me.
do at this point? That could be the name of another series, honestly. It has celebrities and even fictional characters, even more
got the
DC
Joker and
ones. I
Batman.
especially love Flash randomly being in it and being confused on the normal show tropes. And it's probably the most weirdly meta series.
Land developer. Okay, it's probably that guy.
Our local curmudgeon and self-proclaimed child hater and art despiser is probably that guy.
child
really, the
hater,
show
an
actually
art
does acknowledge these
despiser.
Scooby-Doo movies with a few of its returning celebrities like Cher and Sandy Duncan. So yeah, there's direct acknowledgement there. A red line, finally. Also, yeah, Batman also showed up again with no acknowledgement, but again, DC Universe, timeline resets, it can happen. And let's finally finish the movies to end this whole thing. Soda and the Scoob. I really wish I could like this movie more. Scooby-Doo and
what?
King Arthur time sounds so much fun, and not gonna lie, a good
Yeah,
chunk is.
I don't
the
remember
Velma
this
is
one.
awful. She's really bad in the modern era. Because I guess she's supposed to be the smart one. I don't mind when she's sassy. I mean, what's new and incorporated were sassy. But I swear modern Velma is so damn obnoxious and needs to constantly
Yeah.
prove she's smarter than everyone in the room. I
Like we get it, bro. You're the smart one, bro.
hate her so much. She's just a massive buzzkill.
His fearlessness, this knight fought the evil witch and saved Camelot. Witches, wizards, come on. Those stories came out of the Dark Ages where nothing could be accounted for.
Also, it does do a, see, Daphne's a badass. She's a strong female character. But remember, if she's overweight, she'll run off crying. Thanks for that, Frank Creepy. But unfortunately, the movie continues the stupid, yeah, magic doesn't exist. It's actually super convoluted scheme that's so much less interesting and engaging. Is this so much
Yeah,
better?
that's
But
a-
hey,
that must
it
be
might be
annoying.
real, no promises. Like, seriously, watching modern Scooby-Doo is just...
When does the magic begin?
Nothing. Never.
There's no magic, is there?
But wait, when they time travel, they get flashes of virtually all the
What?
Scooby-Doo media. Okay, crap.
Ah.
What do I do here? This
Oh,
acknowledges
no.
too much. I didn't account for this. Is freaking Sword in the Scoob the one that's breaking me? Okay. We have things against this. One, there's clear timeline discrepancies. Huckney and Scooby-Doo at their hometown be Coolsville, and Mr. Incorporated be Crystal Cove. Be Cool has its own incarnation of the Where Are You villain, so it can't be connected. Captain Caveman is there for some godforsaken reason, and Mr. Incorporated proves he's not real. Also, they never actually travel in time. This was all a hallucination, so there's no reason for this, and they can't all the same hallucination, especially if some literally weren't freaking there.
Okay.
This does not actually happen. This is just the gang tripping balls. So, yeah, none of this is real. The timeline is barely secured by technicality.
Okay.
Jesus Christ. This almost broke me, man. Just put it somewhere. I don't know, man. Okay, almost done. Scooby meets Courage the Cowardly Dog. A crossover no one would expect.
Yeah. Okay. This is weird.
But God,
one.
is it amazing. Talk about a love letter to Courage. It got everyone they could back, even if Jack Bergman had to replace Eustace Sue, the original actor passing. But he does great. It also has Theo White come back reprising Muriel
I don't think I ever watched Courage the
for
Cowardly
unfortunate
Dog.
passing. But he played with so much heart and love. It's so sweet. Like, she just doesn't adopt these random teens. It's so adorable. Courage befriending Scooby and the gang is so
Okay.
wholesome. I was terrified it was going to wreck on the series due to the overt magic. And it does a bit, and it doesn't make any sense.
hell?
But luckily the weirdness is still preserved. It's a fantastic crossover.
is
This is a
going on, bro?
crossover, again, new Scooby-Doo movies timeline. Trick or Treat Scooby-Doo. The one with the weird animation and people
no.
only care about because Velma's confirmed to be lesbian. Technically, it was
I don't
said
know
that
about
Mr.
that one.
Incorporated Velma was also lesbian, but no, you can't do that when they spend half the series trying to date Shaggy. Coco really felt like they were trying to
I don't.
force
I think I stopped watching after like the 2019. I think is when I stopped watching
what
Scooby
character
Doo.
like the Hex Girls or Crystal, but I felt it didn't work well. Also, everything's animated like it's a cereal commercial. It's so weird. This whole movie is
Yeah,
weird,
I
man.
don't know about this
Very
animation.
meta. Anyway, Coolsville is mentioned as the gang's hometown, so pop named connection. It also brings back the Where Are You villain, so it's tied to that. Even if
Okay.
they kind of retcon it saying that all the villains' costumes are made by one corporation, that's weird. It's kind of retconning the 10,000 vote ghost, so I gotta put that in another orange line. I'd say
Okay.
put in the scrapless timeline. I do love the mystery gang and the villains' costume, though. Daphne
That's
especially.
cool.
And
That's
lastly,
cool.
Scooby-Doo and Crypto 2. Was this written off by
What?
Zaslav? Ah, whatever. Another DC team with the gang helping the Justice League with Crypto against their rogues.
Okay.
There's no direct reference to the other DC
Just
stuff. Again,
Crypto.
Universal Reset, it's DC Universe, and the new
The-
Scooby-Doo movies.
no Batman, no Super. Okay.
Timeline. And finally, and this another than Scoob.
They made a movie called Scoob.
The first attempt at a theatrical.
This one, I remember getting this on Amazon. I liked it. You know, I think this was the last project I saw from Scooby Doo.
Animated Scooby-Doo movie until fate decided that ain't
wanna
happening,
say.
and at the 2020 pandemic, they forced a direct-to-video. This movie is infamous for being overblown with a blatant attempt at making a Hanna-Barbera cinematic
Yeah.
universe.
Like I don't know what was going on in
This
this
is a
one.
frankly terrible idea. And again, they tried to make Blue Falcon and Dynamite cool. They're not cool. They were cool once, and that's it. Don't try.
Still did a better job at making. Okay, yeah.
It's another failed universe copying the MCU success, but instead of making
It was okay.
a good standalone movie
I
and
liked
connected
it.
them, they did what they always do and think that the secret is to cram as much properties into a story regardless
Placing the iconic BAs for was what?
if it fits or not. And look, I don't give a what the Hanna-Barbera cinematic universe has, unless
What was that?
that's a secret squirrel movie. Like, that show was awesome. It should have been its own thing. And these two dumbasses in their
What
own
is
movie.
this?
This was literally just
Secret
what if the
Squirrel.
puppy was actually good. I need more. But yeah, it's a new universe with new origin of the gang. That's
Oh yeah, they got like Okay, that kind of breaks. I don't know why.
Not pup name, but it is really a rust. Honestly, we gotta have Captain Caveman after all, where they meet and meet the gang and meet Simon Cowell, which is the best.
I didn't even know that was Simon
I think he's appeared since Shrek. Yeah, this movie was just a bad idea, honestly, and maybe it could work again if they didn't overbloat the plot so much, but new continuity, solo from the timeline. And finally we're done. There's no more Scooby-Doo movies or TV
nothing
shows
else.
left.
We're good.
Now, what? Oh, you. Look, it's a new continuity, nothing the same. It's not even an actual Scooby-Doo series since the dog thought it was a bad move for his career. This is not a show, it's a mistake. So new continuity, no question, doesn't go in the timeline. I also just really don't want to watch it. So let's just move it over here and oh no, it fell in the garbage. But I guess nothing I can do about that. Oh
yeah,
well.
I think that's. See, I have nostalgia for this one. I have nostalgia for that, so I think that's way better than this. Even though I haven't seen this show, I think everyone knows it's bad.
And that is it. All Scooby-Doo movies and TV shows put in a timeline map. I am a changed man after this. And here is the full Scooby-Doo timeline map.
Yeah, I'm not trying to read all that. We just watched the whole video.
See.
So like,
honestly, I wasn't even sure I could pull this off, but I'm actually pretty happy that turned
there's a lot more continuities than I thought there would be.
out well and relatively consistent. Though I'm starting with so many movies and series that I probably missed some detail, and feel free to tell me below or if you want to disagree with. But yeah, this was a roller coaster to get through and drastically affected my sanity. And honestly, I'm worried about how Go-Go Mystery Machine will affect this timeline since it does seem so weird, but only time will tell. I'm still excited, and honestly, this reminds you of how Scooby-Doo is as a franchise. It can be formulaic, and yet try something new every once in a while.
Like I feel like the formula like Scooby-Doo.
And while sometimes it does fail, it's extraordinary and feels like a franchise you can do anything in. And I feel it's gonna have those good ideas for a long time to come. But seriously, this was kind of exhausting. Why did I do all of this? Because that's what I had, the Scooby-Dooby-Doo. Anyway, I'm just gonna curl away and wait for my sanity to return, so see you next video.
Alright. That was a good video. That took us an hour. Wow. Okay. That's the complete Scooby-Doo timeline. It's a good video. I liked it. Very, very, very. I would say is very. I went down memory lane there. Went down. Okay, let's do a shorter video now. Or we could do this one.
Let me tell you, working on.
Actually. Yeah, let's do this one.
The Lorax.
Okay, well now you know what it is. It's the Lorax. How O'Hara was the Lorax in disguise.
Wanted to destroy all of the trees. This magical creature, this funny little tree.
How the O'Hara was the. I don't know how this could have been because. How could this be possible?
Tree speaker from a nature animation wanted destruction the whole time. Everything was planned, and I can prove it in 15 minutes.
Okay.
This may sound nuts. This may sound crazy on paper, but it's real. It all goes
Okay,
back
let's
to
see.
Ted Wiggins' secret father.
Wait, what?
This may sound crazy on paper, but
What
it's
is this?
real.
What is his family
It all
chart?
goes back to
What? Okay. The Onceler. Wait. The Onceler is Ted's father? Or Ted's grandfather? What? 80, 78. What?
Ted Wiggins' secret father.
That's a crazy age gap, by the way. 15 and 10.
Grammy Norma's secret husband, and the backstory of Mr. O'Hare. By the end of this video, I will...
By the way, this has one movie, by the way.
...have you convinced that the Lorax was anti-trees. I want to start with a question. If everything really was destroyed in the flashbacks, then how are there still bugs and snails? Also, how does Mr. O'Hare get the air he's selling? How does the Onceler get his food? And finally, when asked to use his superpowers to save the day, the Lorax said, that's not how it works. So how does it work then? Ladies and gentlemen, Ted is O'Hare's son.
Ted is O'Hare's son. What?
Hello, I'm
There's
the
no
field
way.
officer, and I trust
What?
you've seen the Lorax if you're watching this.
So then the Lorax would.
video. Maybe it's been a while. It's a Dr. Seuss movie about a boy living in a world with no nature, just plastic and pollution, and he goes off to find out what happened.
Yeah, where does he get the air
to
from?
the trees. He learns about it from the old man who was responsible. In the flashbacks, a magical creature tries stopping the man from cutting down all the trees, but the world is ruined anyways.
Yep.
And now everyone that's left is stuck back in that polluted fake little dream
What
town.
was that?
Governed by a man who sells oxygen to breathe. So it might shock you.
Wait, how does that work, by the way? If they need if they need to buy oxygen to breathe, right? How are the normal people, like, shouldn't everyone have like a respirator on?
That I have the nerve to accuse the savior, this little tree-hugging furry critter, of being the reason this all went to crap. Let's take a journey back in time, about 8 years, to an old video I made in 2016.
Oh my gosh, bro's been deep diving.
And have since touched up. Back when I was young and full of life, I only had one question. Ted looks like the Onceler.
That's
So
true.
is he his grandson?
That's true. He
This
does
might
look like-
surprise you. This might be obvious to you. And the answer was probably.
Yeah.
The Onceler acts as a grandfather figure in Ted's life. Ted's grandma is the one who knew where to find him. Ted
Okay.
undid what his ancestor caused. The genetics match up.
Yep. Everything matches up. Yeah.
Timeline matches up. The details match up. The statements match.
33 years. Okay. So the Lorax. Oh, Les says Lorax.
Up. And
what is this? Oh, just to like represent.
dear God, is it possible that Ted's mom is framed on his wall? Yes. I'll link it later if you're still curious, but right now, I'll give you a little taste, because I have finally concluded that Grammy Norma was the Thneed girl. Let's just speed through to get to the
So
good
maybe that was her first, his first
See,
customer
I was
was
never
her.
able to find her in the past back then, but I kind of assumed it was her, and now I do know. And
How so? She has a
I
different
just want a full
hairstyle. No?
family tree to start us off with. Height decreases as we expect, but the good stuff is the similar facial structure, the fitting fact that she who promoted the Thneed married its maker, the development from shy to snazzy with
How do we know she married
attention,
the
the
mayor?
shared coy giggle, but wait, you might say the hair. Here's where today's theory makes liftoff, because Norma and her daughter Bernice both have naturally straight hair. This is important for the family tree. Ted has straight hair, which is very unlikely given the intense curls of both his ancestors, unless they're faking it, which they are. Why? Disco. They constantly promote their love of disco throughout the movie, whether it
okay.
be on their fake tree or
Yup.
the hanging toy in Bernice's car.
It's a
This
hairstyle.
is intentional.
It's a hairstyle.
Thus, Ted's hair makes sense. The straight hair is a dominant gene, and the dark hair of the Onceler crushes the blonde, thus creating Bernice.
No, really, I forgot my teeth.
But the question, of course, is who is Ted's father, and
Yeah.
how does this reveal unlock the movie's conspiracy? I repeat, it's Mr. O'Hare, Aloysius O'Hare, savvy businessman, short king, mischievous legend.
Yeah.
Nah,
What's that haircut,
perhaps
by the way?
Ted's father just died. Well, here's
Maybe.
the rub, homie. No, the dead are to be mourned. The breakups are forgotten. We know this from the way this house presents its secret relationship with the Onceler. The
Okay.
fathers are nowhere to be seen or heard of. This is strange because Ted is only 10 years old.
Yeah.
Meaning the breakup would have happened when Ted was very, very young. The town is also new, as we've established in the past, and thus the probability is that Ted's father is somewhere in this town.
Maybe.
We've also seen time and again that nobody is random in this family, so it's not just going to be an extra, it will be somebody poetic. At first I was leaning into Cyrus, the delivery
Maybe.
man, but it just doesn't fit. Unlike the one, the only, the other industrial tree
50?
killer, Aloysius O'Hare. Okay, how? The other... But
Hold up.
it
How
just
old is?
doesn't
How old
fit.
is? 10 years. 10 years age gap.
Unlike the one, the only, the other industrial tree killer, Aloysius O'Hare. Okay, how? How could that even be possible? The film sets up that Ted and Bernice barely know O'Hare beyond him being rich and famous and probably the mayor. Well, that's just how it appears at first glance. You see,
Yeah.
O'Hare seems to know them, as well as they know him. This could make sense. I mean, he spies on everybody. He talks about it. But examine the real details of his interactions with them.
Okay.
And something strange.
But shouldn't
is
he
happening.
adapt some of his
If
genes?
O'Hare is the father, does Ted even know? It doesn't seem like he does, or at least he doesn't take it very seriously. But Bernice, she snaps at O'Hare pretty quickly for someone who's otherwise been starstruck. O'Hare is a zealous businessman with giant henchmen, but she only flips out at him when he openly steps over boundaries with Ted. She's scared of O'Hare, but when he tries hunting for the seat in their house, she screams,
I don't care who you are, you little crazy baby man. Get out of my house now.
He looks so completely caught off guard and actively steps back and leaves her house.
He listens.
She doesn't care who he is, but who is he to her? Is he just some famous, powerful guy?
Yeah, why would he listen to them if he didn't care about them?
Or does he have more influence here? Obviously, we need much more than just her change of tone, so I went scanning. Suspicious moment 1. Ted returns home with the seed to find O'Hare and Bernice chatting in the living room. They've been chatting for a while about something, and Ted is caught off guard. She leaves to let them discuss things, and as she goes, she says,
Isn't he clever, Mr. O'Hare? He knows his own name and everything.
She's proud of him in the face of fame, but more notably of her ability to parent him. Because what does she say mere seconds later?
Teddy and I'll stay here and talk.
Sure, why don't you go ahead and adopt him? I'm just kidding. It was a joke and I just was joking.
Okay.
Really? This little snorting, giggling disco bitch just unleashed the beast that is my theory. Yes, it's a joke. We know, Bernice.
It's a fake
an
joke.
exaggeration.
It's an exaggerated
This moment
joke.
stands out because of the extent to which she backpedals on the joke. Because she was discussing the one thing that would be in line with my theory. Shared parental rights. Okay, but maybe it's nothing. Suspicious moment 2. When she heads upstairs to confront O'Hare for his aggression. It's not exactly his aggression that causes her to flip out. I lied. It's actually this statement.
This doesn't involve you. Get back downstairs.
Damn, that gives off personal vibes.
Oh.
I am curious what fear she's really been feeling, though, if not being starstruck. Still, maybe it's nothing. You know what isn't nothing, though? Suspicious moment 3. The condescending fatherly manner in which he scolds Ted throughout the entirety of the movie.
Okay.
Again, I'm not sure if Ted knows, but O'Hare nonstop refers to him as if he knows him closely, referring to him as Teddy Boy. He has an unbridled rage before Ted has even really done anything. He spies on them, but we see with Bernice that this bizarre camaraderie goes both ways. The grandma calls him Shorty. He says she just finished a turn. It's all personal. And the mom also dissuades Ted from finding trees. Something happened here.
Helps.
Keeping silent. It's why
disapproves it because it helps his business.
they were talking.
She gets
for
a
some
share
time
of the
before Ted
money.
entered, and it's why she's apprehensive. Let's be clear. Absolutely everything pans out as far as technicalities go too. Just like my other Lorax theories, the eyes, hair, handedness, all of Ted's genes fit O'Hare and not many others. Ted could very well still grow to be short like Aloysius as well. The ages align perfectly from the timeline we've established as well, but you want a real Bernice bombshell? She has a very peculiar detail when it comes to her name. She refers to herself as Mrs. Wiggins. Wiggins is her maiden name.
Yep.
But Mrs. is the prefix used only when a woman is married, not unmarried, not divorced, currently married. This strange combination implies that she is married, but refuses to reveal the truth about who her real spouse is. This aligns perfectly.
Yep.
So what happened between them, and how does it reveal everything else? Here's the way the story appears so far. The Onceler is slowly but surely losing his business. All of the trees have died, and he's left with nothing, abandoned and alone. His wife and daughter have left him, and as we see, all he has is his plans for Thneedville, his industrial utopia. It is at this time that a young Aloysius O'Hare approaches him with an idea. commercializing air. The Onceler has learned his lesson about nature, albeit the hard way, but everyone hates him now. O'Hare is the perfect stand-in for saving what's left of the population and giving them air. The Onceler grants O'Hare one of his seeds to make air and grants him the town itself, assigning him as dictator, and in the process, the up-and-coming Aloysius has the Onceler's blessing to marry Bernice, as long as he keeps providing updates to him. This is how the Onceler has Bernice's photo on his wall, and this is why O'Hare
she
is
has like the
spying
afro
on their
too.
family non-stop. However, as the town finishes incorporating, O'Hare begins to get cocky with his position. He has everything he's ever wanted and a son on the way, but he hasn't learned the lesson. He hasn't learned what the Lorax tried teaching. He even functions like the anti-Lorax, short and industrial. This is when Bernice realizes the terrible truth. O'Hare doesn't actually love her and is simply using her to control the city that her father created. They break up hard, and O'Hare doubles down again and again, while Norma and Bernice seal the truth. For if either they or O'Hare let out the truth regarding their shared histories with the Onceler, that man that nobody talks about, pretends like doesn't exist, the town would turn on him. Ted grows up completely oblivious to the reality of his father, but learns not to question it, and perhaps has even figured it out himself. Don't believe me? Well, has it ever occurred to you that these silent giant henchmen are identical twins, much alike? The Onceler's Hey, I'm not making any claims here, but things can fit far cleaner than you can possibly imagine.
How old would they
both
be,
sets
though?
share name patterns. It could be, it could not be. But this all brings us to the biggest purpose of today's video. You might be asking, the hell? That wasn't it? Why no, the purpose is far greater. So for 8 years we've been asking, now we know Ted's parentage and the story within. Believe it, don't believe it, a massive chunk of it is sensible, and it fits all the gaps. People have commented similar things, people have posted similar things, it's not insane. But we're forgetting the most crucial, the most relevant.
The Lorax.
3, the Lorax. I want to usher back to the poetic side of things, the message. The Lorax said that's not how it works, in response to why he doesn't use his powers to stop the Onceler from destroying nature, meaning he knew what needed to happen, and so did the Onceler. The Lorax knew, as far as I'm concerned, that people would never learn by being told over and over again, or being forced to stop hurting trees. He needed to let them figure it out for themselves.
He did it for
All
payback.
that whining and complaining.
He did it for
the Lorax
revenge.
did is nothing in comparison to the sheer regret and shame the Onceler felt after destroying an entire biome for a profit. The Lorax let it happen. That's the only way it works. Trees don't just die like this, they regrow. Even in the harshest of circumstances, life finds a way to evolve. That's the whole
I didn't know
point.
this. Hold up.
The Lorax let
it happen? Let it happen. It's gonna be so. Let it happen. Let it happen. Sorry.
There are no seeds, in spite of them harvesting merely the tufts. No regrowth, none. The Lorax let it happen. The oil and pollution harms the environment, but it can't kill all life, as we see little pill bugs and butterflies. And what's this? A great-great-great-grandfather snail in the dead center of a plastic utopia? The Lorax let it happen. It's all to teach the lesson, so it doesn't happen again. The Lorax has the ability to regrow everything, but he doesn't. His job is to speak for the trees and teach humanity a lesson, no matter how many times he needs to. He leaves when the trees die. This is the whole point of the movie. That's not how it works. The Lorax let it happen, and what's more, he compelled it.
Ugh, eating this means a night in for me. I can already anticipate the stomach issues.
Shut up.
Did to happen, so the people could heal as much as the trees could. Everyone is a part of nature, and this brings me to my most shocking realization in ages. The Lorax, who spurs happenings from behind the scenes. I used to think he was Audrey, or maybe created Audrey, or maybe. Ladies and gentlemen, the short little Lorax is the businessman who tempted deforestation, is the businessman who tested humanity time and time again, is the businessman who watched over everyone from the skies, knew what needed to happen the second he saw the commercials, or in the very least, is responsible for him. This character flies to the skies as his vicious farewell ass-kicking ensues, much like the Lorax.
Oh my gosh.
To create air, O'Hare would need his own little trees, but now that I think about it, the Onceler makes a point of having only one seed to give Ted. This means O'Hare must be tied to the Lorax in order to have a seed to make it grow in the first place. O'Hare's journey, in one way or another, is the Lorax's doing. This film is about heritage, nature, and lessons to humanity. It's about growing prosperity for the next generation and undoing the sins of one's ancestors. Ted is the product of O'Hare, the Onceler, and the lessons of the Lorax, the teaching of humanity. O'Hare is an intentional byproduct of the Lorax's hard lessons. The message of this film, the true message, is literally and physically a family tree. Now all we need to know
Sorry.
Because all of the answers henceforth have come up in the form of Danny DeVito f***ing his enemy's offspring. I can't wait to see what I uproot next. Make sure to subscribe for more. This is very important.
That was a W video. W theory as well. That's a good video. I'm gonna like that. Alright. Chat. On to the next. This one has been on the list for a while now. What happens when villains win? The main I think everyone, whenever anyone like ever thinks of that, they think of Thanos, obviously, because he's like the #1 villain that like everyone thinks of when winning.
Is that supposed to happen? Worlds where villains win are more common than you think. In everything from cartoons to literature, sometimes even heroes are destined to fall.
Yeah.
And when they do, villains rise to shape realms.
I think with that type of media, like, it was never seen. I don't think anyone has ever seen that type of media until Infinity War, where the villain actually wins. I might be wrong there, but I think Infinity War was the biggest, like, turn of events of all time, right? Like, I bet you everyone who saw that movie was shocked, right? Like, can you imagine you're watching the movie, right? You're thinking, oh, the heroes got this, right? Everyone's going in. Thor goes in with the axe. You should have gone for the head. And he actually wins, right? Like, I think that's one of the biggest twists in cinema history, right? Like, no one expected him to win because everyone always thought the heroes would always win, right? That was always written into the story.
Into landscapes of their hate. When I was a kid, the first time I saw a villain win was when I was watching Cyberchase.
Okay, so the villain has won before. I think Infinity War is the biggest one.
And the big bad of the series, Hacker, had taken over the kids' headquarters and erased their mentor motherboard, casting all of cyberspace into darkness. Even though this was just a kids' show, I was absolutely terrified.
Okay, so
when villains
I might be wrong, but I think for me, Infinity War is the biggest one.
They are free to destroy all life, bend civilization to their will, or even save the world. It's complicated. Why do we sometimes root for evil to triumph over good? What happens when all
when you
is
side
lost
with it
and the villain manages to take over the world? What happens when the villain wins?
Yeah.
Spoilers ahead for these pieces of media.
Okay. Adventure Time, Infinity War Endgame, Thanos, Comics, Avatar: The Last Airbender, Cyberpunk, Edge Runners, Powerpuff Girls. Okay, we'll be fine. Black Panther. Oh, maybe at the beginning.
First possible outcome when a villain wins is desolation. Somewhere in the vast cosmos is a universe that has grown quiet. Once a land of colorful princesses, endless parties, and adventure has now become a place of no songs, no sounds. Just a wasteland of
This is
sand
a sequel?
where all life has been eradicated.
That's
In
sad,
this
man.
world, the Lich won. In
Wait,
Adventure Time,
what?
The Lich is one of the primary villains that Finn and Jake face. The Lich has one
Wait,
goal:
what?
destroy all life. Time and time again, he's worked to bring ruin upon the world
He
of Eve
won?
through a variety of ways.
I didn't even know that.
Thankfully, however, he never succeeds in wiping life out, except in this timeline.
Oh,
In the
timeline,
spin-off
okay.
series Fiona and
Okay.
Cake, we explore this world where every organic life form is
Okay.
dead. The only denizens of this empty world are robots like BMO. When villains win, the world itself is transformed by their malice.
Yep.
The Lich wanted nothing more but to exterminate life. So the world we see is devoid of life, color, movement. But in the accomplishment of this grand goal, we find something strange about this version of the
What
Lich.
the hell?
At the end of everything, the Lich made the world empty. And it has made him empty in return.
'Cause he's
Without
got
any
nothing
more
to
foes
destroy.
vanquish, the Lich sits on a throne of skulls.
Ooh.
Later, when the heroes of this world meet the Lich for the first time and expect to be killed, he cackles, shares a flare of his usual menace, but returns to his quietness.
Wait,
Simon
what?
Petrikov even remarks that the Lich must be depressed. A villain's goal is integral to their every meaning.
Like what?
But once
Like
that
what does
goal
a
of
villain do once they win?
destroying everyone is accomplished, what is there left to hold the Lich together?
Yeah.
Later, when the heroes and the Lich enter another realm to face the Chaos God Golb, Lich is finally face to face with his master. The Lich, known
what?
as the last scholar of Golb,
What the
suddenly
hell?
begins to beg, plead, and pray. The Lich says he has found no satisfaction at the end of his goal. He begs for reasons, goals, some sort of meaning to his world,
wants a
but
mission.
Golb does not respond. Foolishly,
Oh.
the Lich never realized that destroying all life was in direct opposition to the will of Golb, a chaos god. The Lich
okay.
enforced a silent order of death, destroying any chance for life's entropy to please Golb. So
Okay.
Golb decides to simply turn the Lich into a strange piece, floating in the abyss for eternity.
Nah, that's crazy.
There's a somewhat similar fate that awaits one version of the
Yep.
Mad Titan Thanos.
King
If
Thanos.
you followed
This is
the
King
MCU
Thanos.
in its glory days, you know that in Avengers Infinity War, Thanos actually won.
Yep.
The heroes of that universe failed to stop him
They were
from using
close.
the Infinity Gauntlet's cosmic power to get
They were
rid of
so
half
close.
of all life. With this goal accomplished, Thanos pieced off to a distant
He's
world and
rested.
enjoyed his retirement playing real-life Stardew Valley. Eventually, his snap would be undone,
Well, then,
but
yeah.
in the end, he still managed to win for a time and exert his will upon reality.
5
the
years, in
MCU,
fact.
Thanos was delusional, but genuinely believed that reducing the population would create a utopia for those who remained. In the comics, Thanos is a bit different. His core
Yeah,
reason
he
for
wanted
trying
to
to
do it for
exterminate
Death, Lady
all
Death.
life, it's
To
just
get a girl.
to please his love, Death, a woman who is the personified embodiment of death in the Marvel universe.
This guy,
In the
bro.
comic miniseries Thanos Wins, we see him almost completely achieve that goal.
Oh,
In
by
this
the way, I'm pretty
universe,
sure that Ghost Rider is King is
Thanos
Frank
is able to
Castle, by the
kill
way.
Not only the Avengers, but all life forms and even the Celestials.
Mm.
He grows immortal, reigning over a desolate husk of the universe as all life fades away. He has essentially won, with no one to stop him, and spends
Okay.
millions of years reigning over nothing. Yet, death never really comes to hold him
Yep.
or share her love with him. He grows old and weary, and after all that he has
Bro's a
sacrificed
big simp, big
to
simp.
achieve this goal, he is still nothing but lonely and empty. Finally, he figures out that he must die in order to join his lover Death. Thus, he uses time travel to bring back his past younger self to come and kill
And does
him.
he still fail to kill him?
After an intense battle between the two, Death appears. But the young
Oh.
Thanos eventually sees that his future version
Damn.
has become weak and pleading.
He didn't like his future
due to
version.
his success. Young Thanos leaves, promising to never become the old man that future Thanos is. Because of this, reality shifts and the timeline begins to be erased from existence. After everything King Thanos did, all his victorious annihilation,
She didn't want him.
Death still refused him.
Damn.
He would be erased, never to truly die and feel
Damn.
her embrace.
That's tough.
He really fumbled a goth baddie.
Yeah,
In
bro.
both the
How
Lich
does
and
bro fumble that badly, bro? You kill the entire universe and you still don't get her?
Thanos' stories, these villains achieve their goals but find that it leads to nothing but hollowness. Even a villain's destruction of all life means nothing in the face of an unpredictable universe.
Yeah.
It especially means nothing in the face of uncaring gods.
Glenn Youngkin underfunded our schools and reduced teacher pay.
Politics. Like, bro, stop giving me ads, bro. Please. Bro, it just gave me a 15-second unskippable ad and then a 5-second unskippable ad. That is literally a 20-second. That is 20 seconds of ads that I cannot skip. What is YouTube doing, bro? Sorry.
Desolation is better than one of the alternatives. Is it better to be killed by a villain and rest peacefully, or to live in a world where the villain's will infects all that there is, corrupting society? Dystopias are some of fiction's most cruel stories of villainous victory. And they're quite common.
Yeah, that
From
makes
literary classics like 1984 to futuristic settings like Night City from Cyberpunk, every dystopian world reflects a reality where some kind of villainous force or institution managed
Oh, yeah,
to
now I
win.
realize
The
that,
second
that makes sense.
outcome when a villain wins is control. In 1984, a totalitarian government twists
1984, is that like the... I think that's a movie, right? Hold on. Pretty sure, obviously it's a movie. It's based off a book, too. It was made... Oh, wow! Was it made in 1984 as well? Wow, that's kind of crazy. The movie's called 1984 and it was made, or it was released, I should say, in 1984. That's kind of cool.
history and controls every aspect of its citizens' lives, all under the gaze of the cult of personality, Big Brother. Even in a cartoon like Phineas and
Brother.
Ferb, there are a couple realities where Dr. Heinz Doofenshmirtz manages to defeat Perry the Platypus and take over the tri-state area.
Yo, without Perry, bro, he does all this?
Yeah.
What?
And it gets surprisingly dark. There are dozens of dystopias throughout fiction, but one that I feel really displays the generational horror of the genre is from Avatar. No, not that one. And definitely not that one.
What is
There
that
is no
one?
movie in Ba Sing Se. Speaking of, there is no war in Ba Sing Se. Ba Sing Se, the capital of the Earth Kingdom, is
Okay.
a massive city
Wait, didn't
walled off
Aang
from
not become like the leader or
the
something?
rest of the world. While at first it appears like a powerful yet peaceful hub, its king is nothing but a puppet, controlled by the Dai Li, a villainous secret police. In The Last Airbender, Aang found himself at odds with the Dai Li as he found out
I never actually watched Avatar: The Last Airbender.
about their lies, brainwashing, and ruthless military dictatorship. Eventually, the main leader
I
of
know it's very good. That's what I heard about. It's very good. So, I might watch it.
the Dai Li was
I have a lot of things on my need to watch list that I need to watch. A lot of movies and shows. I know one of them is Dexter. I think Dexter's been kind of popping off recently. On TikTok, at least. A lot of people are watching the clips and stuff.
defeated. So Aang carried on throughout the rest of the series to face the Fire Lord and save the world.
Horror, by the way.
Yet, a lifetime later, in The Legend of Korra, the Dai Li was still an active force, serving a corrupt queen with her own cult of personality. Even the Avatar could not easily stop this corruption. Class warfare had only grown. The wealthy lived in luxury
what happened
while
with
the poor
Aang?
lived in fear. When the walls of Ba Sing Se came crashing down and the queen was assassinated, the
What?
city was cast into looting and violence. It would take a long period of reconstruction to shape the ruins of this dictatorship into something new. Where did this evil even come from, though? Well, reincarnations before Korra and Aang, it was in fact Avatar Kyoshi who created
Who?
the Dai Li. They would be silent, precise, and feared by all. After riots that had happened, Kyoshi intended to create a force to preserve Ba Sing Se's culture.
So their point is just to try and control the city.
But she had no idea the corruption that would spread when such an elite political force was molded. Why do we include such terrible worlds in even the cartoons we watch? Well, psychology tells us that
Why did that look like Phineas's mom?
dystopic tales have a purpose. Visualizing worst-case scenarios is called defensive
Damn.
pessimism, a tactic that traces its roots in stoicism, used to alleviate anxiety and put real life in
Oh my,
perspective.
so much aura. Oh
Thus,
my
the
gosh.
goodness of
What?
Ba Sing Se or 1984 works to make our own real world
Lock screen
a little more
worthy.
manageable, pushing us to not let fictional histories repeat. Meanwhile, Cyberpunk's Night City portrays a different kind of
Or is this the
villainous
game?
domination. One where corporations
Okay,
rule
this is both.
over a capitalist, cybernetic hellscape. In Cyberpunk Edgerunners, we watch a kid
Guess the
named
show,
David try
obviously.
to get by in a megacity in a ruined future of
I heard the show is also really good. I have, you know, I'm gonna put that on the list. Put it on the list. I have a lot of stuff on the list. Where is it? Okay. Do I have that already? Okay, I could probably delete some stuff. Hold up. Okay, I could delete Creature Commandos. I already watched that. Yeah, I got a lot of stuff. Need to finish Peaky Blinders. Peacemaker, I'm watching it right now. I got a lot of random ones. I got some like, oh yo, what's good? What's good, Samurai? What's good, Samurai Onion? What's good? What's up? What's up? I'm just listing the stuff that I have. You watching One Piece? No, actually. I was thinking of actually watching an anime. If you watch animes, I was thinking of like chilling. I was thinking of watching Death Note. Right, Death Note kind of intrigued me. I don't know, cause I haven't watched any animes my entire life besides, if you want to include Pokemon. That's the only one I've ever watched, and I was thinking of watching Death Note. I heard that Death Note was a good anime for like beginners, right? I might be mistaken, but I heard it was a very good anime to, you know, get into. Alright, anyways. I put Death Note and then I already put Cyberpunk. Okay. There we go. Oh yeah. Try AOT. Yeah, I heard AOT is also really, really good. If it's on depending on, is AOT on Netflix? Cause if it's on like Netflix, I might try that out as well.
America. At every turn, Night City tries to chew 'em up. Gang wars flood the
I
streets.
guess not. Okay, I think that, okay, that's fine. I'll probably like, if I watch Death Note and like Death Note, I'll probably give AOT a watch. Probably on some like pirated or something, I don't know.
The popular
Or whatever, or maybe like, can't you use like Crunchyroll or something? Doesn't Crunchyroll have all the anime and stuff?
This turns to drugs to drown out pain and invasive cybernetics to warp their bodies. Meanwhile, transnational corporations like Arasaka and Militech fight their greedy wars, exploiting citizens, not caring who dies in the crossfire. When David loses his only family,
Naruto, One Piece, Bleach. Okay. I've never seen, like, I've seen like clips of Naruto. I've seen clips of One Piece. I don't think I've ever seen clips of Bleach. Like, I know what Bleach is. I know it's like I've seen like the title cover for it, but I don't really know what it's about. You know what I mean? Those are the big three. I thought Dragon Ball would be up there. I feel like Dragon Ball has to be up there because like Dragon Ball kind of defined the anime space, you know?
he decides to become an edge runner, a black market mercenary fighting gangs, corps, and just trying to survive. He gains control of Sandevistan, which is essentially badass bullet time super speed. He gets along with a crew of other
So bro gets Deadeye.
mercenaries, and he dates a girl named Lucy and dreams of going to the moon with her. Sounds great, right?
Yeah.
If only it ended there. Despite everything he works towards, in the end, David is doomed. One by one, his gang is picked off in battles or by an affliction called cyberpsychosis. When David relies on his tech too much, he begins to lash out violently as cyberpsychosis takes over. His squad is backstabbed by one of their own team members, and the series ends with a fight against Atom Smasher, a notorious killing machine who manages to kill David.
What?
In the end, David made a lot of cash, and his death saved Lucy, who goes on to visit the moon. But even up there in the beauty, she only has the memory of her lover and is forever haunted by the countless losses. It's an
Damn.
absolutely devastating ending as the bloodthirsty Atom Smasher gets away scot-free,
They just
and almost all of her
just
favorite
killed the main
characters
character
die
like
tragic
that?
deaths. But in the end, Night City itself is the true villain of this show. The city is inherently inhospitable. It's overpopulated and oversaturated with advertisements and hostile architecture. No matter how hard people try to fight the corruption, it ends up corrupting them instead. People who choose to stay here chase their dreams, but are destined to be devoured. The only way to survive is to cheat, steal, or become a monster. But even that only gets you so far. The city's more akin to something eldritch and infectious rather than just being a plain old setting. There's a saying, the only way to leave Night City is in a body bag.
Damn,
Sadly,
that's a
it's
crazy
almost
line.
completely true. Dismantling an institution is never as simple as a hero slaying a villainous dragon. The dystopia is more akin to a Hydra.
Oh, Hercules.
For every
Hercules was a
vicious
fun
head
movie.
slain, 2 more pop out. Villain-run worlds
Yeah, Hades is a
fester
very
and
fun
rot,
character.
trapping unlucky heroes inside a cancerous spread of corruption and control. These worlds are terrible, but what if a villain managed to win, take over, and actually make the world a better place? Is that
Yeah.
possible?
Would we consider Thanos? Would
In the
Thanos?
2008
No, Thanos
special,
would not be
Powerpuff
considered
Girls
that,
rule.
bro.
The key to the world is sent to Townsville, and the Powerpuff Girls must fight off hordes of villains to protect it. But after nearly successfully keeping it safe, the key is promptly stolen
Bro, what?
by the girl's nemesis, Mojo Jojo.
Just gave him
And
the
now
break
that
the
he has
villain
the
key.
key, he can finally control the world and do what he has always wanted. End world hunger, cure all diseases, and give everyone free puppies.
W-Mans.
While Mojo Jojo has always seemed intent on ruling with a
W-Mans.
terrible iron fist, he actually becomes a benevolent ruler, and the world becomes much better for it. The Powerpuff Girls themselves are
W-Mans.
shocked but grateful. Who knew that to fix everything, you just needed to put an evil chimp in charge?
Yeah.
As beautiful as this utopia was, Mojo Jojo quickly gets bored of the peace and stirs up more violence instead.
Damn.
While this moment is played for laughs, it is a fascinating thought. What if villains actually have the right idea? And if they could just win once, things would become better. Supervillains have incredible abilities, and if these megalomaniacs...
I'm guessing Marvel Spider-Man 2 2014, that does not make sense. First of all, this is Spider-Man. Second of all, Spider-Man and Spider-Man 2 did not come out even close to 2014. It came out to 20. It's a mistake. I know it's a mistake, but sorry, I just had to point
weren't driven
that
by
out.
Pure evil. Maybe they could be hyper-focused on efficiently resolving the troubles of mankind. Returning to Marvel, no villain knows how to rule as well as Dr. Victor Von
Oh yeah,
Doom.
Doctor Doom. If he wins, I think he just makes the world a better place.
Dr. Doom is one of the most fearsome villains of Marvel. A tech genius.
At least for Latveria. You watch Marvel? Yeah, I watch a decent amount of Marvel when they put out good stuff.
Sorcerer, and of course the sovereign ruler of Latveria, a fictional Eastern European country.
I think he did pretty well in Secret Wars, right? He may have killed every single superhero in existence, but I think the normal common folk did well, right?
Despite his
Or was
evil
well
metal
off.
mask and domineering personality,
In Latveria, at
Latveria is
least.
strangely pretty well off in
If you're not in Latveria, you're cooked.
most iterations. Before Doom ruled, Latveria was impoverished. Now, due to his efforts, it's implied that Latveria has universal education, healthcare, and futuristic technology that puts it at the top of the world's economy. It's a
Okay.
world superpower, and many of its citizens are happy to live in the nation, despite losing many freedoms. When villains win, we are forced to question what kind of society we want to live in. And
You
how
watch
far
Breaking
we
Bad?
go
Oh
to
yeah,
create
you watched all the lineup, right? The lineup of what? Oh, for like the MCU, yeah. And I did watch Breaking Bad. I watched it like in May. Super good. Honestly, Breaking Bad was like peak fiction. I'm surprised I hadn't watched it sooner. I'm not gonna lie. Breaking Bad, bro. Breaking Bad is literally one of the best shows you will ever experience. Yeah, you have to watch it. I would also recommend watching Better Call Saul, which is a prequel to Breaking Bad. So it really depends. I recommend you watch Breaking Bad or Better Call Saul first until the last 3 episodes. Don't watch those. Then watch Breaking Bad, and then watch the El Camino movie, and then come back to the last 3 episodes. No, not Better Call Saul. Better like Better Call Saul. You know the Saul Goodman. Hold up. Hold up. You know the Saul. You know this meme, right? Do you know this meme? With the zoom ups with the song. Wait, this is 3D. Wait, what? Yeah, this is Saul Goodman. I guess not. Alright, well, if you don't know, am I Unk? Technically, that doesn't make you Unk. That makes you un-Unk. If you don't know Saul Goodman. I feel like. Okay, the reason why I say watch Better Call Saul first is because there's a lot of characters in Breaking Bad, right, that are also Better Call Saul, right? So, like, it's good to know the origin story, I would say, of those characters, and then you get to be more connected. Because in Breaking Bad, you don't get as much time to connect to those side characters, I would say. So, I think if you watch Better Call Saul first, get to know the side characters, so then when you're in Breaking Bad, you like feel more of a connection to them. But it really just depends. If you don't want to do all that, then just go ahead watch Breaking Bad. I myself watched Breaking Bad first, so it just really depends if you it just depends on your perspective. If you really want to, just watch Breaking Bad first. Either way, I'd definitely recommend watching it. Yeah, I would definitely watch it for sure. I feel like that's gotta be like everyone in their lifetime has to watch Breaking Bad at least once, in my opinion.
Would you live in Latveria and sacrifice your freedoms if it meant
Well, it depends on what my freedoms were, but you reaction stream today on the stream? Yeah, this is a react stream. I just react to videos and stuff. That's what I'll be doing today. This is today. Tomorrow, I don't know what we're gonna do tomorrow. I have to think about it. But we're doing something tomorrow, hopefully.
Stability and welfare? Does even a mad scientist chimp deserve the chance to try to create world peace? Every villainous victory has a purpose in the grand scheme of the narrative. Hollow
Can
victory.
you react on something of your stuff? Like your stuff? What do you mean your stuff?
Victories prove the villain wrong, and dystopias give protagonists a unique setting to rise against. However, villainous victories don't only impact the fiction, but they also impact us.
Hey, sorry, I'm gonna be late.
Oh, that's okay.
Shut up. I make some digital art stuff.
Villainous victories puppeteer our emotions.
I'm not really interested in that type of stuff right now. Sorry. If you have like maybe an Instagram or something, I'll check it out.
There are three main ways. First, it's through the art.
Reactions, I thought, okay. Don't mind, maybe if you have like a
art of cliffhangers. Villain victories are not always total, and narratives use temporary victories to pull viewers to the edge of our seats.
Yep.
Even though the Lich, King Thanos, or Mojo Jojo reigned, they were eventually consumed by more powerful forces. Like I mentioned earlier, I was horrified as a kid when a Cyber Chase episode ended.
Can I DM you stuff on Insta? Nah. Sorry. If you have it like posted on your Instagram, I'll be gladly to see it. But I'm glad to see
The hacker
it.
taking over. This was a show that taught kids multiplication and starred 3 kids and a robotic bird traveling on a silly adventure, and they always won until the season 3, episode 9, Snellfoo Snafu Part 1, when hacker finally tricked the heroes.
I don't post it. You could just
and
like
hacked.
put your tag on it. Just put your like tag on it, like put your name, kind of like a signature on your art, and then you'll be fine.
Motherboard.
Then
As a
people will know it's stolen.
kid, this is the first time I'd even.
Worst comes to worst, if that video or image becomes more popular, people will see your name, right? They'll see your name, and then be like, oh shoot, that's the original artist. Let me go check out his stuff. You know what I mean?
I realized evil could actually triumph. And the first time I'd seen a to be continued sign appear to taunt me. When we're little, the world is simple and stories are straightforward. Heroes work hard and defeat the villains. Of course, this episode was a part 1, and in part 2, Hacker was in fact defeated. Yet, in the experience of watching him laugh at the heroes, rendered in that same clunky 3D CGI style that only Motherboard was allowed to be, it haunts me. Villain wins are a very common cliffhanger trope throughout shows, meant to drum up the suspense and raise the stakes for the heroes. When all seems lost, that's when the best drama really happens. In a show with one of my favorite villains, Gravity Falls shows a piece of what would happen if a certain interdimensional dream Dorito won. Apocalyptic madness would be wrought upon the world, and
So they
endless
kind of
party
like
would be
showed what would
unleashed.
happen.
The multi-part finale allows
like a
Bill to
warning
take
kinda.
control of the whole town, making the Pines twins' underdog rise against him all the more satisfying and epic. Eventually, his defeat is set in stone. Villain victories serve a necessary narrative function, building the hero up and
what?
suspending us from episode to episode. Secondly, villain victories also round out the emotional experience of storytelling, supplementing highs with extreme lows, such as in horror. So many horror movies end with the survivors being seemingly safe, until BAM! The villain comes back from
Really?
the dead to slash one last time.
Really? I thought they either end up, so it's either if it's like a group, right? Either ends up nowadays. I feel like either no one survives or like one person survives to tell the tale. One or
These
the other.
genre-specific wins play with our emotions and help build the roller coaster of adrenaline we come to expect from horror films. I remember feeling the tension and horror when Hacker won, or when Thanos defeated the Avengers in Infinity War.
Yeah,
The
'cause you
entire
felt
theater
with
and
it.
much of the atmosphere of the
You
Marvel
felt with
fandom
Thanos.
at the time was impacted by a sense of loss and deep surprise. While fiction is chiefly a form of escapism, it also allows us to explore emotions beyond the positive. Thirdly, alongside cliffhangers and horror, another emotion that can be created through a villain's win is sympathy. There are stories where heroes
Yeah.
ultimately win, yet villains succeed in revealing something about the world that the hero must accept. These are moral
When they go down, like, a
victories that
dark
shape
path.
both the hero and the audience, forcing us to see the world in a new light. A notable example of this is Killmonger from the MCU, who uses excessive violence but has a sympathetic motivation, wanting to free Africans and African Americans from injustice around the world. There are endless antagonists with sympathetic motivations. Perhaps someone should make a video about that.
Is Miguel O'Hara really a villain?
Shameless
he
plug
is.
aside, villain wins don't only impact the fictional worlds they happen in, but they also reach out to puppeteer the
Because
odd
he's stopping the main character, so he's an antagonist.
audience
He's
directly
against the
into fear,
antagonist or
sorrow,
protagonist.
and a taste of madness. Speaking of an audience's madness, one of the,
The
darkest
darkest.
villain wins I've ever seen is not from any comic or show, but from a short browser game called We Become What We Behold. There aren't
What?
supervillains or mad gods, but the villainy in this game strikes directly at your core. It's a free 5-minute game that you could honestly go play right now. Go check out the link in the description, play
Okay.
it, and then head back here.
We might play it.
Go ahead.
Huh.
In We Become What We Behold, you enter a peaceful world of
Oh wait, no,
square
I've played this, but I've played this before. I've played this before. I was like, oh yeah, I've played this before. You like take pictures of like what's going
circle
on.
people. You aren't really a character, but instead just control a lens to take pictures of the world
Yeah.
and present it on a large TV. The game bids you to take pictures of interesting moments. First, you take a pic of a new fashion trend, hats.
Yep, everyone starts wearing hats.
But then that becomes old news, so instead you take a picture of a screaming square passing by. Now that's newsworthy.
Yep.
But that pic spreads and begins making circles
Makes
on
people
easy round
worried.
squares.
Yeah.
Take a picture of that apprehension, and soon squares are distrusting circles.
Yep.
You can try to take pictures of the peaceful couple, but the game will refuse to progress if you do.
Yeah. No peace. We do not like peace.
The
They
world wants to watch conflict. Thus, things will spiral
Yeah.
as the media pushes anger and fear into the world. Soon the world is full of screaming division as shapes clash.
Yep.
Until something draws everyone's attention. When the literal shot is fired by the mustached madman, chaos follows.
That
People
was
take
terrible,
advantage
bro.
of the disorder that spreads and resort to violence. And you can't help but keep taking pictures of the horror show. The news tells us all to be angry.
It's crazy, man.
Be afraid. In this game, you are the villain who wins. Blame is shared between the violent mobs, the gunmen, the TV's inflammatory subtitles. Yeah, for sure. But you wield the lens. You choose to keep clicking. The violence that occurs is spawned by you and your media machine of escalating emotions. By wielding the camera, you are complicit in bringing the society to ruin. The audience wanted a show, right?
Yep.
We as an audience are driven to watch.
Hey, why does that look like Doctor Doom?
Conflict. We root for vicious villains and violence in shows.
I think with Thanos, like, we were definitely on his side because, you know, like, there were definitely people on his side, even though at the time, like, you still wanted the heroes to win. There were people who definitely understood his motives, right? It's like, you say you're born and your entire planet dies out because it didn't have enough food, right? Like, obviously there was probably other methods than wiping half the universe, like maybe doubling the amount of food, but like, just like, people understand, you know, where he's coming from, right? Like, he lost everyone from his home planet, you know?
We rubberneck at accidents on highways, give in to panic and hysteria. It is, after all, our minds that construct dystopias, weave these tales of torture. We are the mad gods who think up worlds where villains win. I'm not trying to argue that good should always prevail in fiction and that villain victories are a bad thing. It is important to tell stories of all kinds, of all outcomes, and of all emotions. Fiction should be free to explore outcomes where things go bad, because from those possibilities, we learn to build a better society. But it is important to be conscious of the fiction we create, the media we consume, and the villains we decide to root for.
So many different
Life
styles.
inspires the art we make, but art can also inspire the ways we live. From these tragic stories, we shouldn't fall into hopelessness or fear. Instead, we must develop a sense of defiance and determination to make sure villains only win in fiction and not in the world.
Wait,
we
what
live
is
in today.
this? Oh, everyone died.
Antagonists and villains are so fascinating, and if you want to hear more about them, watch.
That was a W video, chat. That was a W video. I'm not gonna lie, that was a very, very W video. I like that video, chat, but anyways, I think we're gonna call it here for stream. Hope you guys enjoyed today's stream, chat. We are going to raid someone. This is I was gonna raid Joe Bartolozzi because I want to watch him myself. So that's who we're gonna raid, chat. Can you even raid? Underscore. Oh, what? Well, allow me to. Man. Hold up. Oh, he's not live. Is he live? He is live, right? Oh, no, he's not live. Aw. Aw. Man. That's unfortunate. It's unfortunate, chat. Well, maybe next time. But yeah, anyways, chat, hope you guys enjoyed today's stream. Thank you guys so much for tuning it in with ya boy. And I'll be seeing you guys, I'll be seeing you guys, what, tomorrow? Probably tomorrow, yeah. Bye! Bye!